All I know is that California is the place you ought to be. That's what they said to Jed when he found oil. Jed Clampett?
Jed Clampett.
Clampett. Clampett?
Clampett.
Clampett.
Yep.
Said California is the place you ought to be, right?
Was that before he struck oil or after
No,
he
it
struck
was after he struck oil.
Well, then why would he move to California?
Because he got all the money.
Oh, because he sold his land.
So he got himself a house in Beverly Hills. You know? Probably got,
Hales, that is.
I think it's
because they rhymed it. House in Beverly, and it goes, Hales, that is. It's like super lazy songwriting. Didn't even try and incorporate the whole word.
Delicate dropped in to say that she'd be, we would have to deal with Future Delicate. Hello, Future Delicate.
Hello,
Congratulations to California. Thank you, Delicate. I'm sure you're out there hitting the ballot boxes with your votes. And I'm really happy. Erica's here. Hello, Erica. I'm really fucking happy. I'm really jacked up. I got a headache and everything. I got a headache because I think nightshades fuck with me.
Yeah, I'm positive that your headaches, migraines situation is a food allergy.
It's definitely a gut issue. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about them.
Yep, California is gonna be gerrymandered.
Yes. Well, it's always been gerrymandered, but
yeah,
but they're redrawing like they didn't right here. We're in Georgia,
mm-hmm.
and that state legislator passed it a whole new districting. They redistricted this state to rig it for because and they did that right after elected 2 Democratic senators.
Yeah, the town that we're in is split into 4 districts.
We have a town of less than 100,000 people.
Yep,
and it's split into 4 districts. Less than 100,000 people. 4 districts.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
That's how much they have to divide us.
So Bobo, Bobo's here. Bobo's back. Or Bobo's still here. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, that is why, and look, I've been saying this for a long time. The fucking Democrats, even the establishment, especially the establishment, but the establishment makes me sick to my stomach most of the time. But even the establishment, Democratic establishment, they need to fight back the same, and they need to start like eye for an eye action around here.
So I was saying it yesterday. Like you try and navigate the system that you're in, but when the system is broken, you have to navigate a broken system. So it's like, okay, well, if we're all just like doing the vaguely legal criminal behavior of gerrymandering and fucking,
it's not criminal, but it's definitely unethical.
That's what I mean. Like if we're moving the goalposts so far, okay, we'll play on that goal. We'll play with those goalposts then.
Bro, they want to fucking steal. We can steal too. And by we, I say, I am vehemently, to my core, opposed to everything that I see coming on from this GOP. Would I like to see massive political reform on both sides? Big time. And we see it in Mamdani. Mamdani is the future. And it's what we were, all those of us who care about humanity, those of us who care about truly care about our fucking neighbors, those of us who are not absorbed in greed and capitalism have wanted this forever, have wanted this since any one of us became aware of people like Bernie Sanders.
I have really enjoyed watching his campaign and their fight against his campaign. Like the establishment Democrats and the independents, they're fighting against him because the scaremongering is really pathetic. Like they keep trying to scaremonger by using examples of what we're currently experiencing under this system. So they're like trying to scaremonger. This happens all the time. Anytime somebody runs for office and their platform is democratic socialism, everyone's like, ooh, socialism. But they always are talking about like, if you elect a socialist, the store shelves will be empty. Well, bitch, the store shelves are empty now. Like, what are you talking about? Or like, they always scaremonger about the things that are currently happening. It's
funny. The first time that I got a lesson in actual communism, not the communism, like, again, it's interesting because you read today about, you read from some scholar or something, or some, somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about, who said that, socialism is a very individual thing by country by country. So the socialism that America might embrace would be far different than socialism that you might see in an African country.
Oh, this is actually
a
huge.
European country.
This was a talk that I listened to. Kwame Ture. I don't know if I'm saying his Ture. I think is his last name. Anyway, he changed his name from his given name was Stokely Carmichael, and he was a civil rights activist. And he moved to Africa and changed his name, but he returned back to the States and gave a lot of speeches. So that was a speech that was actually given at UGA. So he came to this town, and he gave a speech to a bunch of college students where he was basically answering questions of theirs about how you fight the capitalist machine and how, what socialism means. And he was really eloquent when he was talking about, like, they always try and compare socialism in what it could be in this country based on what it is in other countries, but the nature of socialism, and I don't know this, I'm just quoting him because I don't know anything about anything, but he was saying that the nature of socialism is that it's built by the people of that nation. So if you're comparing like socialism of a different country to what you have, you can't. It all is the same system. It's just designed by the people that live in that
principally
system. So how wonderful would that be?
Yeah. Well, I was bringing it up only because like when I went to Europe, when I went to Denmark to work on Don's Plum. When I went to Denmark to work on Don's Plum, Peter Albeck Jensen was talking about him being a communist. And it made me very uncomfortable because I had no idea what communism was. And for people who don't know, Peter Albeck Jensen was the former head and co-founder of Zentropa Studios in Europe. His partner, Lars von Trier, was at the time one of the most celebrated directors in Europe, winning or always being selected for major film festivals like Cannes and so on and so forth. And he went on, did Lars to be, a multi-Oscar nominee, et cetera, et cetera. Some of us, if not most of us, know his work. He was quite a genius in his prime, despite his flaws as a human, which I seem to believe we all have. But nonetheless, Albeck Jensen we call him Albeck, Peter Albeck Jensen, we call him Albeck. He told me, he sat me down about communism. Like, he sat me down. He was like, you know what communism even is? Because I was like, I'm no communist. Like, he's like doing this. Like, he's like, I'm a communist. This is a we are a socialist country and we are going to be a communist country.
Why does he sound Russian?
He was starting, because that's what he sounds like to me. So then I was a little offended by it. Not offended, but intimidated. I was intimidated by it.
Oh, yeah, because we've been scaremongered about all of this for so long.
So, and I didn't want to be, I was like, what's going to happen? You guys going to arrest me?
Well, look, and here's the thing is, like, they're not wrong. Like, if we had a true democracy, things would be wonderful and we wouldn't have to change anything. But the problem is that we don't have a true democracy and we haven't for a very long time. So we're comparing something that doesn't exist. People are like, oh, you don't want democracy, you want socialism. Like, no, we want either. We don't have either now. Like, anything other than what we're dealing with would be wonderful.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that when he explained to me what communism was to him, what it meant to him, and he started like pointing out, I can't get into those details with a fair memory of it, but what I remember is being wildly moved by it. Like, I was like, oh, fuck, maybe I don't understand any of this.
Yeah, I certainly don't.
Because I'd never been outside of the shelter of the United States or Canada.
No, our perspective is so narrow. By design, for sure. Like, we have not been, I think that we're an extremely isolated and insulated and propagandized populace.
It's so true. I mean, well, the reason why it's so interesting to me, this whole conversation about how socialism or capitalism or any form of democracy really would have its own interpretation and application by any given people, by any given country. It just shook. It just, like, I just found it like extremely, I don't know what it is, I guess liberating in many ways to know that, like, first of all, I didn't even understand, capitalism or democracy. America's version of capitalism is a fucking train wreck. I mean, we can see it. And
it is currently failing.
Mamdani is like, and people, there was a great question somebody was asking about, well, if this guy's the fucking mayor of New York, what do I give a shit? I'm living in fucking Idaho or whatever. And what's interesting about it is not only just the size, the economic power, the influence of a city of that size. There's more than 8 million people just in what would be considered, New York City.
So enormous. It's so crazy.
Fucking million people.
About.
It has 60% of Canada's total GDP.
And it's such
in
a small
that one
city.
Spot.
Like, what's the population of Los Angeles County?
14 million. Over 14 million.
And it's like spread out.
It was 14 million 30 fucking years ago. So let me find out.
It's spread out so far.
Yeah,
but New York City is so
it's
tiny.
It's like a crammed and high.
Yeah.
Whereas LA is just a sprawling big fucking parking lot, Yeah. So anyway, just seeing these different versions of everything just started to open up my mind and maybe start thinking more about like, really, what do I know? What are my challenges? So Albeck really just opened my eyes in so many different ways. And I thanked him for it. I mean, I was like, wow, I really didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
But this is the way it's always going. Like, all it takes is for an American to get to know somebody from one of these countries where they actually live under democratic socialism, and they're always ranked as like the happiest citizenry, Like, isn't Denmark is it Denmark or Denmark and Norway that keep like switching for top spot of the happiest people?
Yeah, it's Copenhagen. Is often considered, or often, chosen or voted as the happiest city to live in.
They're the people to talk to about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let them be the authority. Like, why don't we just try a little bit of what they have just for a little while?
Here's the fucking story.
Just to try it on.
We're in Denmark. David Stutman, who I produced Don's Plum with, he was David Stutman, he was there in Denmark with us, and he falls and breaks his arm. Goes to the hospital. He's shitting his pants.
Where is he? Denmark?
Copenhagen. Breaks his arm in Copenhagen. He goes to the hospital, of course, he has to. He's like, shit, and he's like, fuck, how am I going to ever, you know what I mean? I'm just not going to pay them, and they're just going to come get me in the United States or whatever. Like, this is the kind of, ticker in his head as he's sitting in, going through the process of getting admitted and getting the x-rays and getting the bones set and then put him in a cast and giving him a follow-up to have, look at the wound and then have the cast removed. They didn't even ask him his name.
Are you serious?
They would ask him his name, but they asked him for no ID. They didn't ask him for anything whatsoever. He was like, dude, I could have said my name was Ronald McDonald. They had no idea. They didn't care. They were only there to fix my broken arm. They didn't ask me for a penny. They didn't ask me where I lived. They didn't even ask me where the fuck I was from, although they assumed. And that is, and I'm sitting there in this socialist government, and that is what Denmark is, socialist.
Could be so easy. Yeah.
Democratic socialist, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, the people smiling, they don't have this like tension in their faces like we do. They don't have, just waking up in the morning, you're like, oh, this is pretty relaxed. And look, I mean, it was a very small sample. I lived there for 6 or 7 months or whatever it was. And, I'm no expert on the Danish life. And I'm sure there are people in Denmark who are terribly sad. Lars von Trier is an alcoholic. Normally, alcoholism isn't the result of like somebody saying, "Hey, I'm well-adjusted and having a great."
It's probably
time.
Because of the cuisine. It's probably they're like, "Can we get some fucking decent food around here? Why is everything fish?" Are you with me?
Yeah, Denise is bitching about our small talk. Well, you're just gonna have to wait if you want to get our take on it, and if you don't, I totally am cool with that. But yeah, we're going to talk about whatever we got on the agenda. And the first thing we're talking about is the absolute kick-ass fucking happening in American politics. So we're really excited about it.
This is so hilarious. Come on, I want to talk about this. Denise Berrigan goes onto someone's live and says, just listen to a bunch of nonsense waiting for the Lively update.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you could read the headlines yourself. You don't have to wait for us to talk about it.
You're a guest here. We're not a guest at your house.
That's amazing.
Maisie, I saw the video of Leonardo DiCaprio from the 29th of October, 1994, wearing a monkey mask on Halloween with Kevin Connolly. And my question is, did you see him on that day or hang out with him on Halloween before? I did see him on that day. We did hang out on that day. Yes. I believe.
A monkey mask?
Yeah. It's a vague memory, but yeah, I was there.
That's such a great costume for him because at that time he was so like lanky, he's like all elbows.
Yeah.
Like a monkey.
Yes, I was hanging out with Leonardo DiCaprio and all those guys that Halloween.
What'd you dress as?
As a Canadian. In other words, I didn't wear anything.
People were like, what are you? I'm Canadian.
That's exactly what it was. I was like, yo, nice costume. I was like, you don't fucking like it? I'm a fucking Canadian.
I'll hockey punch you.
All of my LA costumes like that, like when I was living in West Hollywood. West Hollywood, by the way, is like the hottest fucking Halloween spot I've ever been to. It's just a fucking big, giant outdoor Halloween bash. It's so fucking great.
It is so amazing. It's true.
Amazing. It's just so fun. I woke up and I just threw on my robe and that was my costume. And they were like, what the fuck, bro? And I'm like, I'm the guy who just got up.
That's stupid.
That was my costume. The guy who just got up. I don't think so, man. People loved it. You know what? It was a very popular costume. Mm-hmm. It really was. People were like laughing at me because I was the guy who just got up. And you can just go ahead and be critical. There are just under 10 million people in Los Angeles County, Angela.
10
So
million people?
I was wrong by a few million.
Yeah, but that's crazy. So LA County is so enormous. It's so enormous. And then so little itty bitty New York City has 8 million. Oh my God.
Yes.
That's a
the
big
city.
jump.
That's just the city.
So we were talking about this earlier. We were like, okay, it's just so massive that he gets to test. I really hope he succeeds because he gets to test out democratic socialism in the biggest city in the country. Like,
Hey, Denise, what do you think of my hat?
Listen.
I'm just asking if Denise has a thought about my hat.
Yeah, I understand. So listen, like if a democratic socialist mayor got elected from Memphis or something, like that is a huge achievement. That's a big city. Like that's a lot to be done. But people would poo-poo any success, be like, oh well, that couldn't work anywhere else. Like that couldn't work in Chicago or that couldn't work in Portland or whatever. But if it works in New York, it'll work anywhere.
Yeah. Seriously, Denise, we would normally lead off with the story that we started with, but the reason we didn't was because Delicate got us started because she was so excited about,
We're excited too.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over the moon, dude, because listen, man, they swept in a different way. People are like, the other thing that people don't recognize is that the Democrats, the Democratic establishment took a shot in the balls in New York. You know, they sent a predator packing in our own party, and they stepped up to the plate with a progressive.
Well, if they didn't want to
socialist,
if they didn't want to lose, they shouldn't have ran somebody with like allegations. You know,
who
I mean,
ran
come on.
as a socialist.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, but he also just won. Like he won. If you take Cuomo and the guy with the red beret, if you take those guys and you wrap up their votes into one, he still wins.
Yeah, I know.
He had over 50% of the vote. So
that's great.
It's just a fantastic win in every way because it's not just a statement. It's not about just New York City. It's a statement about where we want to go. We want people to be protected. You know, this fucking asshole, I watched a video. Like, oh, good. Oh, I guess everyone's happy because now everything's free in New York. Fuck you. It's not free, brother. Go look at your fucking pay stub. Go look at all these people's pay stubs. They're paying taxes, fool. And you're the guys that are taking the fucking money and spreading it out with military and spreading it out to wealthy people.
I know, it's such a
and
tired
all
argument.
these fucking dudes are coming in to do is say, no, you're not getting it anymore, Mr. Billionaire. We're going to get it.
People keep framing social services, you know, as if it's like we want free stuff. Like, no, we just want what we fucking paid for.
Yeah.
Like everybody's paying
What we
taxes.
pay for,
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody's paying taxes
Every
in this
fucking
country.
day.
We're just trying to have a fucking society, right? Where like the government has a function
Yeah.
and that's to provide social services. Like, come on. Most countries understand this.
Yeah. The wilting
Like,
orange
I'm trying to get my money's worth, right? When I pay taxes, I want something to come back to me and my neighbors instead of having it like all my money go to like turn brown kids into skeletons someplace overseas, you know?
Yeah, the fucking, the orange one, he is sitting there throwing tariffs at us like crazy, thinking, laughing at us as we pay these taxes, as we, I've seen nothing but everything go up. My butter, I buy Kerrygold butter. My butter. No, but this fucking butter is now out of my, it's like, I can't buy it anymore.
Our butter's so expensive.
I can't buy the butter anymore. I know. It's fucking it's $20 a pound.
I know.
No. Sorry, it's $10 a pound.
Dale and I both cook every meal at home. We haven't been to restaurants in years.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have like excellent ingredients.
Yeah, we use we decided that we weren't going to go to restaurants because of COVID.
We're just going to use the best ingredients.
And we were just going to buy all the good shit.
Priced out.
Yeah, now we're priced out of fucking butter. And that's all tariffs. So fuck this guy and his fucking taxation. And if you're going to fucking tax us, then we want something for it. Not just the butter.
Something, anything. Jesus Christ. Like,
so I'm super excited.
We don't even get roads.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Okay, so let's go on to this next, also a very exciting topic. Very exciting topic. And this, of course, is the Blake Lively case. Today, a couple of things happened that I thought were really interesting. But the biggest story, of course, broke a couple of hours ago. And that is that she's filed for treble damages.
Oh, well, if you ask the Baldoni supporters, the biggest story is that
Austin is here. Yay.
Jed Wallace's case was dismissed again because it was
dismissed. Well, no, I'm going to get to that one. That's hilarious.
But that's the big story according to them.
I mean, it's not a dismissed case. It's a dismissed case in the state of New York.
Right.
The federal court held in New York.
No, it's true. She can go get his ass.
It says right on the fucking thing.
She can go get his ass in California.
Or Texas, whatever. Again, she's going to have a jurisdictional problem. And by the way, Jed Wallace is her afterthought, bro. It's her afterthought.
Well, I'm hoping that she goes and gets him.
Me too. I want him bad. But
I think that he is they wouldn't have been able to execute their smear campaign and their social combat plan without him, Yeah,
but here's the thing that she does. if all she does is succeed in her battle against Baldoni. If that's all that happens, all of that, we all saw it, and certainly all of fucking Hollywood did.
Yeah.
We all saw what happened. Publicists dragged Justin Baldoni into a fucking lawsuit. Yes, he was a willing participant. He was beating his chest like a fucking angry gorilla, you know, acting like he can fucking, like he's going to war, using his words, right? But what should have happened in that situation is a publisher should have sat him down. His representatives should have sat him down. Steve Sarowitz should have said, we need to be cooler heads in this situation. We need to be above all of this. But instead, they turn into irate assholes and retaliate to the extent now that it's going to cost them potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. So what happened was Blake Lively filed for her triple damages, and and here's the thing that's awesome about it. Remember, of course, that Justin Baldoni filed a $400 million lawsuit that was practically laughed out of court.
Yes.
Wasn't even given a chance to amend. Everyone's confusing amending with appealing, and they're different fucking things. In the lawsuit, in Judge Liman's decision to dismiss Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, he said very specifically that there was no point in even amending because the evidence that they put forward would never change substantively enough to reintroduce the case or to give the case any legs. So he said, like, it's literally a futile, or he didn't say literally, of course. I don't know, I'm using that word today. You know how some days a word comes? Literally is just hanging around like a bad fucking habit.
It is a very tantalizing, like there's a staccato to literally that like is so satisfying when you stick it in a sentence.
You can't sing it, but
just to provide emphasis to what you're saying. So that's, I think, why people misuse it all the time.
So I'm, you know, it's really fucking hilarious because, you know, anyway, so I'm where was I? I got totally distracted by my literally.
I was a little bit stuck on how you say that it got laughed out of court when it's just been a very serious proceedings this whole time. Like Justin Baldoni's case was dismissed, but it was after much consideration and pouring through all of his evidence. When you say laughed out of court, it really does make it seem like it was this whole thing was a sham and he's a loser.
Yeah.
But it's just that we laughed about it, but the court didn't. The court, you know, a lot of people are saying that his case was dismissed. A lot of his supporters, I guess, I don't know why they're trying to spin it this way, but they're trying to say that his case was dismissed on technicalities, but it was not. The judge is very clear that that his evidence cuts against his claims. Yeah. And that he has not supported his claims with enough evidence to even warrant a repleading, you know, like an amendment. So, you were talking today about how, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. So Blake Lively today I don't know who has put this out to the media, but apparently she's calculated what she's asking. She's asking the court to award her.
Yeah, well, this is where I was going. In fact, let me just go ahead and grab this now. But she's asked for $160 million. And let me break it down for you guys. Let me see. I can just grab it here. Super excited. I'm just excited about this whole thing. I'm kind of giddy about it, actually. I've been a real troll with it ends with lawsuits. I've just been trolling. You know, it's interesting because you know, you hear what these fuckers say, right? They're in there like, the fucking nerve. This is what they're saying. They're saying, can you fucking believe this bitch? Like they're saying shit like this.
She deserves.
He sued her for $400 million. What were they saying then? One of them said, this is so fucking absurd and ridiculous. And my response is, well, so what were your feelings on the $400 million lawsuit filed by Justin Baldoni? Was that stupid and ridiculous? Was that embarrassing?
What's really amazing about $400 million in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit is that all of the plaintiffs never once articulated what that money was for.
No.
Never once did
Other than they're saying there were some punitives that they didn't specify where the punitives were.
There was no specification about nobody has ever articulated what she gained as a result of whatever deception he's accusing her of. She didn't gain anything. He didn't lose anything. He's never been able to articulate what he lost, but he just came up with this number. He was like, that sounds good. Let's try and get $400 million from her.
So I just put up for everyone to see this from the filing. It's the breakdown. So we'll start with, first of all, it's confidential. So you guys got to keep this between us, all right?
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone. Economic damages. Lost earnings in the amount of not less than $56 million subject to expert testimony. Lost profits in the amount of approximately $71 million subject to expert testimony. What's fucking interesting about that, of course, this is going to include not only lost revenue to the point to this point in the game, but what they are probably deeming as future losses as well. These are people who, by the way, like the Lively, Reynolds duo, they've made hundreds of millions of dollars in just the last 6 or 7 years. He sold Mint Mobile for $600 million. He sold that vodka line of his for $300 and some odd million. She was building up her Betty Boo's line. All these other
this is really huge though, because like all she has to do is have one of her representatives say, you were going to get an opportunity for this much amount of money, and you lost that opportunity because they deemed you to be unpopular because of this smear campaign that's against you. I think I recall that being the reason why Johnny Depp could bring the defamation suit, was because he actually had testimony from somebody who said, you lost work because of this.
They're not the same, these two things. Yes, if you're going to try and sue somebody for defamation, there has to be some sort of loss attached to it. There are more rare instances where the defamation is so egregious and so damaging in general to reputation
that you don't have to,
that losses aren't required. Also, and by egregious, I mean that defamation is by almost by definition a lie, right? A purposeful lie, right? So if the lie is so egregious, like for example, if somebody said that I was a murderer, a PDF file.
Oh, right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Somebody made some claim, like Leo paid a publicist to put something out because the book blew up, right? And they're going to try to paint me as some kind of predator or some kind of, awful person. That would be an egregious lie.
And you wouldn't have to lose anything.
And I wouldn't have to lose any money because that would be so egregious. And of course, if I could prove, and I'd very easily be able to prove that it wasn't any of those things, then they would be on the hook for a major loss, even though I wouldn't necessarily be able to prove or couldn't prove, for example, any actual losses. So pretty exciting in that regard. Non-economic damages, pain and suffering, physical pain and humiliation in the range of $250,000 to $400,000. And I think that's really fair. I think it's beyond fair. I honestly am shocked at how well it appears that they're enduring all this. I don't know if you saw the photographs of their Halloween outfit. It's really cute. They're doing characters from.
I think that it really helps that they're super rich. I feel like there's a lot of like, oh, this is a game, and you don't have to play it all the time. You have your lawyers to play it for you, and you can just go on with your life while the game is being played.
I knew a lot of miserable rich people. We of course heard of them. We know about the Belushis, and we know about the Chris Farleys, and we know about all these other people who live in a certain state of depression, regardless of their success in life. So it's not always helpful, but Tony Robbins used to say something, because he would talk about this all the time, because he would tell you, like, look, I know you're going to sit here and set your goals, but if all your goals are money, I got some bad fucking news for you.
Yeah, right.
Because there's actual science behind this. The science is that once your basic needs are met, like, so money from $0 until your basic needs are met have an exponential effect on your state of mind, your quality of life, and your happiness. So that means that if you're from zero to call it $75,000, from $0 to $75,000, as you incrementally increase that income up to $75,000,
so does your
happiness increases exponentially. Yeah. After that threshold is met, your happiness is incrementally affected. It's incrementally affected. And that is why a lot of people end up, showing up to the fucking party that they had planned for themselves and realizing there's really nobody there. And the party, of course, being that they've reached some sort of economic goal, some kind of business goal.
And also, like, we know Blake Lively is a Leo rising, and so her public image does matter to her.
It's probably going to matter more than the money.
But
reputational harm, speaking of which, reputational harm, they are asking for $34 million subject to expert testimony. And I love that they're saying, dude, we've got this. We've got our experts. We're going to bring them. You're going to have to fucking knock them down. But we've got our experts.
Oh my God, that's so fucking exciting. That we're going to hear expert testimony about everything.
I can't wait for the trial. Punitive damages.
I hope it happens.
Punitive damages an amount not less than 3 times the amount of Miss Lively's actual damages. Of course, this is the treble damages. Very exciting. And then all attorney fees, costs incurred by Miss Lively. So, I call her Blake, but so, because she's going to buy me a house. I don't know if you've heard this, but because of all this hard work we're doing, let me tell you right now.
She's like, you just need a few more subscribers.
Yeah,
and then you're going to meet your quota.
She's like, look, man, they have reached 62 people. 12 people are watching them. We're going to get them a big old house in Cali. Wow. It's extremely exciting for me because I really do feel like there's some justice on the way. And I want it badly for her. And I want it badly for her, not because I care about Blake Lively. I don't. Not because I care about Ryan Reynolds. I don't. I've never met those two in all my days. No, well, that's not true. I met Ryan a couple of times, but I never got to know him. He was never a friend of mine. We never hung out. I met him on the set of Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place because I had a friend who worked on that, or not a friend, but my wife's client was the other guy in Two Girls, Rich Riccolo. He's a fucking dick if you ask me, but hey, that's another story.
Nobody's asking.
That guy's
you.
a fucking absolute douche.
What?
You would not, if the stories I could tell you about the things that fucking
Why do we care?
dick ass said about me. Doesn't matter. We don't. I just, my wounds, I wear my wounds.
Why'd you bring him up?
Because he was opposite Ryan Reynolds in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Do you still have this up on the screen?
Why you got? What's something bad happening?
No, nothing bad is happening. I wasn't sure because there's a delay on mine, that I'm watching.
Oh, I do.
So we're still in the little dots.
You're right.
I don't think that's very interesting.
Hi guys, it's us again in our less than bubble outfits. So,
I need you to focus.
well, you just pulled me out of my.
No, I mean Rich Riccolo. Why the fuck are we talking about this guy?
Because he's a dick.
Nobody knows who that is.
So, I don't know these guys. I don't care about them beyond my interest in this case for reasons that I think are, pretty valid. I mean, my life was as most of you know, was fucking terribly destroyed by the kind of bullshit that Justin Baldoni is going through right now. So
Kindly DiCaprio knows who he is.
Who what?
Kindly DiCaprio knows who he is.
Who?
Says, Kindly DiCaprio wrote in all caps, "Why is he bad? I love that show. He's the one who catches beer in the fishing net."
Richard Colo is a big giant fucking grid-headed dick.
Grid-headed?
Yeah, he
does that mean?
he was losing his hair, so he went and got all these fucking.
He did the turkey
grid.
hair transplant.
Yeah, they're I don't know where it is specifically, but they've developed this pill that they gave it to mice, bald mice.
Oh no, it's not a pill. It's like a cream.
It's a cream. Yeah, it's a cream.
Where they took. They bred. No, here's the thing though, is that the mice started out bald. They bred mice that do not have hair. Right. They bred bald mice.
Alopecia. Like I was thinking about dude from Barry.
Yes.
I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna just take baths in this shit.
I know. You could put the paste so that you have like a really sharp widow's peak and turn
some
yourself
Dracula
into
shit going.
Eddie Munster.
You might regret that. I guess you could just I wonder if you could like fuck it up. You'd be like, oh, you're like drunk. You're like, I love this stuff.
Yeah, right.
Like werewolf.
You fall
kid.
asleep with it. No, your whole face is covered in fur.
So anyway, this cream will generate hair, and
they said that the mice started to grow hair where they did not previously have hair
everywhere.
After 20 days.
After 20 days, let me tell you, bro.
So nobody's gonna have to get hair plug treatments anymore.
They're growing a third set of teeth in Japan.
Yes.
I'm gonna buy all this product. I'm gonna get me a new grill. You're good.
I'm good. Yes.
Yeah, mine.
Big chompers.
I'm gonna get me a new grill. Now, the funny thing about the growing teeth thing, by the way, is that what people didn't know is that mammals, these dentists in Japan, learned that mammals have a third set of teeth that just never evolved, that never came drop down ever, and so they've created.
I don't like this.
They've created a procedure
I don't like this detail.
that stimulates that third set of teeth that we all have.
I don't like knowing this.
It doesn't even matter the stage of your problems or whatever.
You shouldn't tell me.
Everybody's got a third set of teeth.
That's horrible.
We're sharks, man.
Do you think my third set of teeth are as giant as the ones that I wear now?
You'd be like, can you tell me if I get a new set, will they be slightly smaller?
Maybe just a little bit smaller. I scare small children sometimes, and I would really like to
murder a carrot. Just let me tell you right now.
Murder a carrot.
So back to this loveliness. So yes, here we go. We have, obviously they're asking for a shit ton of money. Here's the end result of this granted. If this gets granted, they will go bankrupt. They will.
Why?
Because they will go bankrupt.
Yeah, because there's the treble damages detail too, right?
So if this turns into multi-$100 million judgment, they're going to do exactly what you. If any one of yous out there have even peripherally saw what was happening with Alex Jones. Alex Jones is that piece of shit who tried to sell that Sandy Hook was a hoax on his far-right radio talk show. He was sued by the families. A judgment, they won, and the award was $1 billion. And he had this thing called InfoWars, I think it was. No.
InfoWars is his show, yeah. Where he defamed those families.
Where he defamed those families, and that got shut down.
Yeah, he called them like liars, like they were faking it.
Yeah, he was
like
gross.
The grieving parents were faking it. Like,
he's one of the most vile human beings on the earth. Maybe one day he'll be hanging out with Dick Cheney.
Did you ever see, so during that trial, that he was on trial for the families took him to court, okay?
Yeah.
Did you ever see his witness testimony? Like when he's in the witness box and he's being questioned and cross-examined?
I didn't. I think I may have seen it, but nothing I remember.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, I got to watch it.
Because he's so stupid. It's probably an act. He's probably pretending like he's stupid.
Right, so that he could avoid questions.
But it's like kind of entertaining how much he's like, demeaning himself in order to try and escape accountability for what he's done. It's really one of the craziest like court performances I've ever seen. There's like Ted Bundy, and then there's Alex Jones. Are you with me?
Yeah, I am. But Mr. Han just said that they changed the name to two guys and a girl, which is true. They dropped the pizza place because it was a really stupid name.
Mr. Han said they abandoned the pizza place, and Dale never forgave them.
No, it's never, like, fuck that. Fuck ABC. I'm done with it.
You're like, the pizza place was a character.
I don't remember what network it was on. That's how close I was to that show. Yeah, I went to a couple of those tapings, man. I met Ryan Reynolds and Traylor Howard.
Okay, so listen. So Lee is saying, this is interesting. So Perez Hilton was bragging today about the Jed Wallace case being dismissed.
Yeah.
Right, in New York.
Yeah, because it matters to him somehow.
He said, Lee said that Perez Hilton was laughing like a hyena. So I didn't know what to believe, whether it had happened or not, because, Perez Hilton doesn't always have the facts.
That guy's such a creep. I don't know why anybody likes him, but except maybe...
I don't know that anybody does.
Britney Spears. Well, Britney Spears loves him. She did a shout out to him.
She did?
Yeah. He's good to her,
Isn't he the one who who published upskirt photos of her?
All I can tell you is that...
That was Christina Aguilera. I don't know. All you can tell is what?
Is that she likes him, because she just shouted out to him the other day.
Oh, I bet he loved that.
So let's talk about that. So she...
What are you doing?
I am pulling up my stuff. It's a live. It's a 2-person live. I don't have an assistant sitting here loading my screens up.
You're being so stern.
Okay? You're going to have to bear with me. We're doing a live. I love you guys, bro. I love that, like, when this news comes out, like, it's always fun hanging out with you, Angela, and sitting next to you and talking all this trash, and you and I having our differences of opinion, and we have these like spirited debates in our living room, just the two of us. But it's so much more fun sharing it with people who have opinions, who change mine, who offer color, and even get me pissed off occasionally. I still miss Guilty Angel, even if she pissed me off that day. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
What are you looking up?
You'll see. No, I'm sorry.
Will I though? Or like, am I just going to be waiting forever?
Hey man, you got some filler?
No, I didn't. I spent all day cooking and it turned out okay, but I'm so fucking full. I don't know if you guys have ever made or had Salvadoran pupusas. It's like stuffed tortillas.
Yeah.
But you are not supposed to eat 4 of them.
Wow.
I learned the hard way today. You're not supposed to eat 4 of them. They're so filling.
I am not. I have shallow breathing.
Yeah, I know.
So the judge once again dismissed the amendment to her complaint against Jed Wallace. And of course, this was all about jurisdiction. There was a fight over jurisdiction. She wanted Jed Wallace to be attached to the New York lawsuit.
Yes.
And stand trial in the same way.
And he filed a motion to dismiss saying, I don't live in New York. I don't belong in New York. You can't sue me in New York. So she's like, okay, I'll just go get your ass in Texas then.
I am super surprised. I mean, I read I read a small clip at least of the judge's decision. And, as per normal, the judge is citing precedent, and he cites a couple, maybe 3 case precedents that help support his decision. Mm-hmm. I found the decision rather confusing personally, because it's like, so why then doesn't he just go and like live in some remote Alaskan place where he can just like be a completely lawless individual? Do you know what I mean?
That's Texas.
Oh, he's there. That's why he moved there.
Yep.
Yeah, he moved there. I mean, his business was actually formed in California.
Mm-hmm.
He bolted his ass to Mr. Deregulation state.
Yep.
And that's where I think it's just unfair. So Texas law, applying Texas law to somebody who doesn't even step foot in Texas, but to do promos or whatever, shoot a movie or whatever. But
yeah, I think she'll probably seek him in California, and I think that makes sense because he was contracted by a California company to do work. So he can't escape jurisdiction when he's working directly at the behest of a California company.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Lee just broke my heart. He said that the live isn't the same without Guilty Angel.
That is sad.
Kind of breaks my heart. I didn't realize she was the reason why people were coming.
Well, she was really great in the chat. She always greeted people and talked to folks.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, and I miss her. I know, and I wish she'd come back. And she's clearly not going to come back, and that's fine. Whatever. I mean, we all get to make our choices, and whatever. I mean, it is what it is. She also blew up the chat more than once. She got blocked by several people who were hanging out with her. Because she's got a bit of a mean streak. Don't ask me why, but it comes out. Like in the instance that I ended up in the argument with her, it's like she's totally disparaging.
Yeah, but we don't have to
Pedro without
litigate it again.
Without any, can just finish what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thanks. Without any, she doesn't know Pedro Pascal from her fucking, from anyone, and so it was upsetting to me. Especially because, we just live in this world where people just spread lies with impunity. And I'm really fucking tired of it. Like, there's never a consequence. Just people show up to chats and just lie their fucking faces off. And I have a hard time with it. I do. Because I've had so many people lie about me. I've had so many people affect my life detrimentally with lies, with filthy fucking shitty lies. And so when I see people, so I don't, I honestly, I just don't want people in this chat lying without being called out for it. And it just so happened that on the day she decided that she was going to lie about Pedro and just make shit up about Pedro Pascal, somebody she has no fucking knowledge of whatsoever.
What are you doing?
It got on my last nerve. Are you calling me out?
Well, I just didn't know. I wasn't sure how long you were going to go on with the story about something we all
please,
witnessed.
Please pick it up wherever you'd like to go with it. I was just saying my thing. You know what I mean?
You were looking something up? It sounded interesting.
I've already been talking about it, which is this Wallace thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, she's going to have to sue him somewhere else. That's all that matters. I mean, that's all it means. She's just not getting the venue of choice, and she's not getting the judge of choice. And it does mean that she might be disadvantaged if it ends up in a Texas court, because she's walking into basically enemy territory of that situation. You can pretty much guess. So it may, in fact, affect whether or not she ends up pursuing him or not. We'll obviously see what happens.
She's fucking better.
She's gonna fight for.
He can't just get away with.
She's gonna fight for some jurisdiction. She's gonna try to get California. If she gets California, then lucky her. If she doesn't get California, she'll probably drop it. I would be surprised if she moves.
I think it's super interesting to think about. Like, okay, so if you're not allowed to defame people. If defamation is something that you can sue somebody for in civil court, then certainly everything that Jed Wallace is doing with his, with the astroturfing campaign and the social combat plan, for sure, that is something that also can be litigated in civil court. There's no way that he can skate by just because he was just following orders, or that he worked for somebody who was directing him. There's no way that he, conspiracy and aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation are both claims, what do they call it? Causes of action in Blake Lively's lawsuit. And those apply to him, right? He's involved in the conspiracy. He is aiding and abetting, right? He's actually executing their orders. So I don't know how he gets away with this. If they're held liable, then he has to be held liable too. Because you can't just lie about people. You can't just spread lies and ruin somebody's reputation without any consequences, So I hope she does get his ass in Texas or California, and we'll see what happens. I wonder, do you think that she's going to wait until after the lawsuit is complete so that she has some credibility in those courts?
No. I doubt it. No, I think she's going to pursue it now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have no fucking idea.
Hopefully soon.
Who knows?
Hopefully we'll get to read it.
who knows? It's, obviously she's going to follow the advice of her attorney, and her attorney's going to, I imagine they're going to try to move the venue now, It also, every time this guy thinks he's off the hook, it's like, what's happening to the evidence? We already know these guys destroy shit. Like,
yeah.
Well,
there's invoices. So, he can't claim that he had nothing to do with it because he is sending invoices and they're getting paid for several months in a row, So he has to answer for what the fuck he was doing for them. And it's certainly a lot more than just monitoring, They're all crediting him for a job well done when people are attacking her online. So, he can't just claim that that's based on nothing.
No,
I don't know what's going to happen.
Is it crazy to say that I want to be more like Kindly DiCaprio?
No, that's not crazy. Kindly DiCaprio is a sweetheart.
Yeah, I want to be a sweetheart.
You are a sweetheart.
I don't know if I am. I don't think I am.
No?
No.
You're a little ornery, but I think you can be both.
I think people like sweethearts. Do you know what I mean? I have
there's
more
also
enemies than friends.
You have to be careful because a lot of time when people want to be a sweetheart, but they end up being like a people pleaser, which is, that's like you end up getting walked all over, if you're not careful.
Yeah, I just, it's so interesting. I'm reading this book from Virginia Giuffre. She
are you almost done?
I am. She wrote the book Nobody's Girl. Recently released memoir detailing her very tragic life as an abuse victim to Jeffrey Epstein, among others. And it is uncanny how many similarities we have, personality similarities.
You and her?
Yeah.
Have you looked at her astrology?
No, it's not astrology. It's
curious.
It's very much. For me, it's very much survivor stuff. Like, for example, she constantly tried to reconnect with her father. And her father did unthinkable things to her. Unthinkable things to her. And
like not safe for work type?
Not safe for work.
Yikes.
Unthinkable things.
That's fucked.
And then lent her out. And there's like a major revelation in the book. I don't know if I can I don't know if I should spoil or what. I don't know what the rules are in terms of talking about books.
I think that it's dealer's choice with it, but I think that a lot of people would prefer that you not spoil important like turning points or revelations.
The reason I ask is because like there's a particular detail that is so instrumental and detrimental to her existence in so many different ways as it relates to her father. But anyway, where I was going with it is that those of us who have survived horrific events. Now, what happened to Virginia, like, isn't all that different than what happened to me. She got trafficked to, a dozen men, and the severity of her case, I would say, is certainly, I guess it's worse. I mean, the difference is I was 10, she was 17. You know what I mean? I was like,
that's gnarly.
I didn't even know what was going on. I was 10 years old. I had no idea what was going on except that I was getting some free stuff, and I was getting to play with model airplanes. And but where I'm going is that it messes your mind up, and it changes the way your temperament works. Like, before all that shit happened to me, and this also happened again in a big turn when it came to DiCaprio and Maguire and the way they fucked my life up, is that I don't know that it's necessarily like an anger, but I think it's like have you ever been sunburned? Have you had a sunburn on your back?
I'm very often sunburned. That's why I no longer am sunburned.
So if you have
suntan ever.
So you've been sunburned.
Yes.
So if you've been sunburned, it's like my soul is sunburned. And if you touch it, I'm like, it's like that. It's like what happened. And when I'm reading this book, it's what happened to her. Her ideation is the same as mine. And I mean the same. Like, she had fantasies, same fantasies I had.
It's really interesting too, because I was just talking about, I just looked up your chart compared to her chart, your astrology.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a really amazing astrologer who is a Jungian analyst. And her name is Liz Green, and she writes incredible books talking about the mythology and archetypal significations of astrological placements. And one thing that she was talking about, it's kind of, it's a little controversial, but she says that there's a pattern where Mars and Pluto are in a harsh aspect in the charts of people who are either victims of sexual crimes or perpetrators of sexual crimes. And it's super interesting that it manifests in a similar way for each of these people, that there is a theme in their life of this kind of like power dynamic, conquest criminality. They're either victims of it or they're the perpetrators of it, and sometimes both, Well, you have a Pluto Mars opposition.
I do.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
And an opposition is a harsh aspect.
By the way, it's Mars in the 5th, which is the house of children. Of course, the things that happened to me, I was a child.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, with the Pluto opposition in the 11th house,
Pluto
would
Mars,
be that I was being abused by a community.
Pluto Mars opposition. That's like the oppositional tension. It's kind of like a tension, like an entanglement that those. But
I think when you think about opposites,
in a negative way.
When you think about opposites, right? You take a magnet, and then the magnet comes together,
Yes.
and you take the magnet, you turn it over, and it can't get together. That's that opposition. That's a good example of what an opposition means in astrology.
So in astrology, that dynamic is considered to be negative. It's like a tension that's like kind of manifests in a bad way in your life. Like these are challenges you have to either learn how to navigate or overcome or suffer through. Well, Well, Virginia, she has a Pluto Mars square, which is a 90-degree angle, and that is more harsh. That is more aggression.
It is.
That is injurious.
Yeah, when you think about square, think about the old saying, squaring off.
Yes.
When two people square off.
Exactly. They want to fight.
It's what happens when two planets square. They're literally, not literally, they're, squaring off. Their energies are entwined in battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Or conflict or some kind of,
It's interesting that you guys both have these similar experiences in your life, obviously quite different, but of the similar sort of theme, and that you both have this astrological signification that, according to Liz Green and other Jungian analysts that are astrologers, they think that this is a signification. Something you're born with was supposed to manifest its way into your life somehow. And I guess that's how it did for either of you. It's just really fascinating, especially Pluto. Pluto, Hades, the mythology. He like crawls up. The only time he ever comes up from the underworld is to steal a woman. Yeah. So there's like, and with the Mars aggression aspect of it, like it's just it often manifests in some sex crime or sexual violence or something. It's like it's not It has to do with like power dynamics, Yeah. Conquest.
Indeed.
Right? Seizure. It's just interesting.
I'm not even sure where I was going because I know that we were on a different topic and I was using that as an example. But it's just that I guess I was just really going in some like just talking about. I was talking about wanting to be more like kind of DiCaprio, and I think that like. I think there are people who are, there's an astrology to people's personality, or there's a personality makeup, whether you believe in astrology or not, or whether you subscribe to astrology or not. Belief isn't really required, but whether or not you subscribe or not to astrology, there certainly astrology has a major say or in your personality makeup. Meaning, like, I'm a martial energy guy. I'm a Scorpio first house, which is ruled by Mars. Mars is in my 5th house of creativity. But it does mean that I have the potential for, things like, a bad temper or to, be one who might fly off the handle or, this is not sort of, this would not be a surprise.
Yes, especially
for
about the
Scorpio.
past, right?
It'd be more Aries than Scorpio, but it's still martial energy nonetheless.
No, but especially about the past too. Like a Scorpio is definitely like past oriented. So
Very
you
much.
have a hard time getting over like past injury.
Yeah. And not only that, but that past energy is a very good point because it's a water sign and so it's, it really goes into the depths of the entire psyche, not just like, whereas Aries also Mars ruled is more fiery and in the moment, like, which would be like more, like when you cross an Aries person, it doesn't take long for them to, want to cut you back. Whereas a Scorpio will take some time figuring out exactly how they're going to apply.
They'll brood over it for sure.
They'll brood over it, but then, and while they're brooding over it, they'll also be, planning, or imagining, I guess you could say, what they might do. Or, with my, I say that. It's so funny that I say that because I have my ruler in the 5th. So it's so funny how astrology works, because I'm literally revealing astrology in a way that I didn't even intend to. Because I have in the 5th of Pisces. So to say that I'm imagining, my revenge or my Pisces, redemption.
Yeah, to like idealize and imagine your revenge. Yeah, that's true.
Is a very Mars in Pisces, Scorpio rising situation.
We are what we're born under.
I always admire, and like John Candy is a guy who like had that kindred, like, I don't know, like I was a well-liked person. I say was because it's true. I am not well-liked anymore. But I was a very well-liked person.
What do you mean you're not well-liked?
I'm loved by you, but I'm basically, look, I
think there's some people here that like you too. I mean, you don't really go out much, so maybe that's why you think you're not like what? Like there's like the number of people that are able to like you is smaller than it used to be. I'm
just telling you how I feel about, how I feel about being, about how people perceive me. I think people. So
are you imagining it though?
Allow me to get to my point. Before the DiCaprio Maguire incident, right? So like I carried, as it's talking about, Virginia Giuffre and how she and how her abuse has manifested in ways that create either barricades or even conflicts with people with whom or for whom she should have no barricades or conflict, right? And I don't know, I kind of got distracted there.
Why?
So I'm just trying to explain that, like, after I kind of got a hold of myself, I talked myself out of the abusive past I had, in terms of me always knowing that there would come a time when I'd be able to separate from it, that I would get away from the men who were doing horrible things to me. I would get away from my father, who would physically and mentally abuse me on a daily basis. And I just knew, so I knew they were on a ticking clock. So all I had to do was survive.
All you had to do was grow up so that you could be an adult and the adults couldn't victimize you anymore.
All I had to do was survive. The growing up part was inevitable. And that's the whole point I'm trying to make. I didn't have to grow up because growing up was happening every day that passed. Mm-hmm. I just had to be able to survive until that cycle was complete and I could get the fuck out. And so that odd little, they gave me a sense of hope that is almost surreal, but it created this, it preserved my spirit. It really preserved my spirit. I was through up until 1995, June of 1995. Sorry, up until whatever it was, August of 1996, or whenever the bashing was. Do you remember what it was? It was August, right?
Yeah, it was August 21st, I think, 1996.
So up until 1996, I had preserved my spirit. And I was a very spirited kid, as you can imagine. I mean, I have all the astrology for it. I was very spirited, I was funny. I was really a delight to be around. I had a massive amount of friends that I believed in and people who loved me. And it felt fucking great.
Sorry.
And
July 15th, 1996.
July 15th, 1996, yeah. Right, so July of 1996. After July of 1996, that's when I think I got like kind of broken. Like it really broke me. And it broke, like that spirit I had was broken. And I know that because it took me years to just climb out of the crater of my loss of spirit and creativity and really love for life. So it's just very interesting because, there's a certain, so I guess where I was going with all this is that I am convinced, I'm truly convinced that had my father not done what he did to me and my mom stood around and watched, had the three men who chose to totally destroy me for their pleasure had not done that, and then had Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire not decided to completely execute my social and creative life in Hollywood, my dreams, I think I would have been, that guy who was like, not like John Candy or Kindly DiCaprio or Ethan Suplee. Ethan Suplee was the most loved guy in Hollywood that I knew. Another one that, none of you guys know is a guy called Brian Klugman. Can't Hardly Wait. He's in that movie if you want to see a movie he's in. He's just another one of those guys who literally spend anybody who spends more than 50 minutes with Brian Klugman, unless they're the devil itself, they walk away going, I love that guy. I love him. He's wonderful. And I think that I was more closer to that before having to survive all the nastiness. I think the nastiness, just turned me into a different person entirely, while at the same time, still obviously holding on to my core. But yeah. Anyway, I don't feel like a very liked person. Mr. Hand 57 says, considering that I dismembered Jerry Swindoll, in the middle of Glendale Galleria for all to see, I still don't hate you. You must, I still don't hate you, must make you, to some degree, well liked. What's making me liked? The dismemberment, not the dismembering of Jerry Swindoll.
Considering you dismembered Jerry Swindoll in the middle of Glendale Galleria for all to see, and I still don't hate you, must make you to some degree well liked.
Oh, thank you for reading that correctly.
You don't have your glasses.
I'm not, that's true. I'm not, I'm not like disliked. It's a weird thing. You know what happens to me?
I don't know what you're on about.
Here we go again.
All right. No, I mean, you're lovable. Every time that you and I go out someplace, people love to talk to you. And I don't know why you're having a pity party about it.
I was just about to say, people
about nonsense.
People like me for a period of time, and then they kind of somehow.
What do you
turn on me?
Let's
get on some other stories. So here's the thing.
In my experience, that has not been true.
Okay. If only you were in my boots. Let's get on some other topics. I don't want to talk about me anymore. My life is hard, and that's just the way it went.
Maisie is with us, asking, I know. Do you ever wish that you could gift your book to your younger self to warn him and show him what is to come in the future?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Also, to add to that question, do you think that you would have made Don's Plum if you knew it would end your friendships with many people and your Hollywood dream? So
Don's Plum was like the thing that I think changed me the most as an artist. I think that I'd always struggled to know who I was. So when I was a kid, very young, when I first started encountering these really terrible things in my life, I went to writing. I started writing. And I was really good at it at a very young age. Like my teachers were all, my English teacher in particular was amazed by my writing skills. I was, by her words, I was the best writer in her class. And, it was 30 of us or 25 of us. Not a big accomplishment.
I know, but it's such a.
But it changes you when people tell you that,
Yeah, when an adult really cheers you on like that, it really makes a big difference.
Those 30 people are your world when you're fucking 10 years old or whatever it was, you know what I mean? So I was looking at these people and I was like, I'm better than all these people. And I'd really started to slide as a student. It's probably more like 11, 12 years old. And I started to really slide as a student as a result of all this shit that was happening to me. But, I turned to writing, and it was through writing that I sort of, found some solace and, found some direction, I guess, and maybe even a little protection from all those. I don't know where I'm going on this. Did you know that chorizo is made of salivary glands and lymph nodes?
What the fuck? I'm sorry. Say that again. Chorizo.
Yeah, this guy.
The delicious Mexican spiced meat.
Yeah.
You're saying is made of what?
This guy posted the ingredients of his chorizo. And it looks like a very popular brand packaging that I've seen before.
Oh, so it's like the
plastic. But it's obviously not American.
It's like the plastic tube.
Yeah, the plastic tube, exactly. It looks like like something you'd buy at any Mexican mart,
Okay.
Ingredients. First two, pork salivary glands. Second one, lymph nodes. So there you go. Did you know that? Just want you to know that I'll never be having that again. Can't believe I don't think
that's always the recipe. Is that always the recipe? Are we always eating organ meat when we eat chorizo? Fuck, dude. Man, we just have no idea what's going on. This is the thing. Like, I've been learning a lot about supply chains. Not like I care about it, but I'm learning about other things, and then obviously, consequentially, you have to learn about like how fragile our supply chains are, how broad they've become, in order to create all of these products and all this variety of production for all these people. Yeah, they end up having to fucking grind up pig's salivary glands and organ meat, lymph nodes.
Yeah, I didn't mean to like belabor it. I don't
chorizo.
want to gross people out, but it is.
You have to start eating smaller, like,
Or just
more
ask people like what's in your chorizo.
Yeah, like you have to, if you want. It's like if you want to get something that's made for you, you actually have to find the person who makes it and buy it from them. Like, no more of this shit.
Or get a meat grinder and make your own chorizo.
Here's the thing: if you don't know who made your food, that person is not accountable to you.
No,
they can feed you whatever they want.
A little more lymph node in there.
Lymph node, Jesus Christ.
A long time ago on one of these lives, whether it was the TikTok live, it could have been the YouTube live since we moved over, but a long time ago, I talked about how, like, I believe that Hollywood, like kids in Hollywood, people who grow up in Hollywood are stunted. Like their maturity levels are just stunted. I don't feel like they grow. And the reason I say it is because I knew a bunch of them, obviously, but they're in a bubble.
Yeah, they're in like a fantasy land.
And they get in this bubble and they're not let out of this bubble. And it just, I mean, they literally, I saw them as just people who were completely stunted emotionally.
So you're talking about like child actors, right?
Yeah, child actors like Leonardo DiCaprio was a good example. Like a lot of people are like, why is Leo like this? I don't think Leo's ever grown out of the fucking 90s, ever. I don't think he understands. I mean, I know that he's dissatisfied with the fact that he's unfortunately living in 2025, but his brain, 1995, 1996, 1997, probably before Titanic, because he was doing just fine financially. And, if you've watched any of those videos that are out there of him in 1994 and 1995, when we were chumming around in those days, we could still go out. We could go hang out.
You can't anymore.
And people noticed him. It happened everywhere we went. And he would sign the autograph. But now this fucker can't even get out. He can't. He's got to build a fortress.
He has to wear his hat like all the way down. Like people still recognize him.
Well, I'm bringing this up because Cher has, she's talking a lot. She's, talking about her relationship with her beau that's half her age and all this stuff. She's 79.
She also recently released a 2-part memoir.
Her lovers. Well, there you go. They're all coming out with their memoirs these days. Got a little.
Everybody's copying you, babe.
Right. Yeah. They're all just trying to do what I'm doing. I'm a trendsetter. Cher declares that she hates aging. Oh, she's alone there. It's so funny. It's just like she hates aging, but there she is doing it, because life is great and aging is a part of it. And it always saddens me when people don't want to embrace. This is the disease of our nation. You're supposed to be an elder. You're supposed to grow old.
Oh, it's not just our nation. I mean, I think the plastic surgery capital of the world is Brazil. As a country, there's more plastic surgery there than anywhere.
I wasn't for a second thinking it was only an American thing. It just happens to be where I'm living. And in the place where I'm living, aging is considered a bad thing. It's fucking terrible. Like as a 55-year-old man, I'm like I feel like if I was going to go out into the workforce, like I'm it's pointless. Like people.
Oh, you're worried about ageism?
Ageism is everywhere, but and it's just beyond ageism. Ageism
is everywhere except for politics, where we want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. We're the one place where you actually should apply some fucking common sense about people retiring. Yeah. They die in office in their 90s. Cher declares that she hates aging and doesn't feel more experienced in life. This is a quote. She says,
"Well, that sounds like a fucking skill issue."
Experience in life. She says, "I'm stupid. I'm not wiser." And this is what I'm talking about. Like, she's stunted. Like, if you're not fucking wiser at 79 years old, then you're just a stunted human being. And I really feel like that stuntedness, that lack of growth comes from the bubble that is created by their fame, by their fortune, and then by their own self-adoration.
I think she might just be like trying to play humble, because certainly she's wiser. I mean,
It's a statement that bothered me because...
Of course she knows she's wiser.
I'm fucking debate what she actually is or what she is. I'm only going by what the woman says. What else can I go by? I mean, I could pretend that, there's a bunch of subtext in there and make it all up. But the reality is what she said. And if she's saying to the public, by the way, she's influential to some, She was one of the most impersonated people of all time. She was up there with Arnold Schwarzenegger in impersonations. In the fucking 80s, you couldn't go to a comedy club. And I freaked at them because I was a stand-up comic for a while. You can go to one that wasn't doing that, where men and women were doing Cher and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was like the two easy, like the most low hangingest fruit in comedy in the 80s.
It was super annoying. Well, I was like,
Yeah, because
oh,
everybody did that, like that lip thing that she does, where she like purses that upper lip.
I don't remember anybody doing Cher, but I remember people doing the fucking Schwarzenegger. I was like, so you never met an Austrian before? Got it.
So Cher declares that she hates all this stuff, and I'm thinking if this is true, if what she's saying is true, and she actually believes this, then it really is for me a good example of like this sort of the stunted growth of Hollywood that I believe is an infection that isn't limited to, and it's not. By the way, it's not everybody. This is not what happens to everybody. There are just certain people, and I think there's a certain level of fame that might increase your chances of being stunted. But I think it really happens pervasively with younger individuals. Like I know this. Leonardo DiCaprio was a fucking child when I met him. In my book, he coerces a huge TV star to masturbate in front of all of his friends, me being one of them. To masturbate in front of all of his friends. He literally coerces this big giant television star who everybody would know by name. She was a household name in America and really around the world, but certainly in America. And why? You're an adult. What are you doing? And at the time, as upset as I was over it, because it was really disturbing, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Are we not over this? Did you not play Spin the Bottle? Like, are we not done at this? This is puberty shit. This isn't fucking adulthood, and that's where I was like, wow, like, because I would never have thought that way at 21 or whatever it was that he was when he did it. I just never thought that way. That just wouldn't have occurred to me.
But you think that DiCaprio doesn't, do you think he knows that he's stunted, or he doesn't know that he's
stunted? I don't think
stunted?
he knows. No, I think any of them know.
Because I know that in the more recent interview he did, where he was like being interviewed by P.T. Anderson, they asked about like, what age do you feel like you are? And they both said like decades younger. So I think he recognizes that he is living sort of in this past, and he feels like he's younger than he is. I think that this.
Well, I mean, we all do.
Like,
we all do. We all feel that way. I'll never forget sitting with my 87-year-old friend Pat, and me asking him about like, what's the one thing you would want to tell me? Like, if you could tell me anything about getting to this monumental place in life where you're 87 years old, if I'm ever lucky enough to get that old, what would you tell me now in terms of like getting there? And he was like, the most disappointing thing about aging is how you don't feel your age ever. He's like, I've never felt older than 40 years old in my life.
So that must be what shares.
It's a bit of verbalizing. A little different. He didn't talk about his wisdom. He didn't talk about the things he had learned. He didn't talk about being stupid.
Yeah.
What he talked about was that he didn't feel personally younger, not in development, in existence.
Yeah.
In his existence.
I think that Cher and DiCaprio have similar like career experience, right? Where like they peaked at such a young age. Like Cher had a really long career, super long career, but she was always, they were both idolized for their beauty, her and DiCaprio. I think that probably works to stunt you sort of like resist aging if you know that you're the best version of yourself according to everybody on the world was your younger self.
Artie Robb is not a desirable, like, I mean, he's fine. He's not an ugly person or anything. I'm not trying to diss on him, but he's not a sex symbol or somebody who's
okay.
Artie Robb was in the business since he was a child. Literally, his first job.
Oh yeah, Pampers. I know, but he never reached the level of fame where everybody is telling them like, "Oh, you were so gorgeous when you were younger."
Yeah, but he still didn't develop. That's the whole fucking point I'm making.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lived in that bubble his whole life. He has been in that bubble his entire life. Still remains in it to this day. He's never done anything else. He used to brag about how he was a valet fucking driver for like 2 weeks. That's the most he's ever done outside of show business in his entire existence in life, and was in my opinion was he in this trapped bubble that I talk about, was he undeveloped or underdeveloped or whatever you want to say it? I would say yes, he was, very much so. His maturity level, I mean, he's probably fine now. I mean, probably.
So we're talking about celebrities, right? Like, so Cher, do you know if she was a child actor? I don't know much about her.
Oh, I don't think so.
Before her like variety show period of her
Sonny
career.
and Cher?
Yeah. Cher first. I don't know. Acting? No. Let's see.
Cher first became famous in 1965 as a part of the Sonny and Cher show. I don't know what her credits are beyond that. Everyone's just like, as soon as you talk about it, it's like, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to get too deep into Cher's.
Well, I was just wondering, I was trying to make you were making a comparison that people who are child actors end up stunted. And you brought up,
It's not
you brought up
limited to
Leo and Artie Robb. And so I was wondering, is she also a child actor?
Yeah, so I don't think it's necessarily limited to, and look, this is just a theory that I have based on my limited experience, but it's not so like while child stars I think are more susceptible to it. I had just explained that I think it's something that anybody who breaks in, like if you break in your 20s, you might be trapped in your 20s to a certain degree.
Wikipedia says that her career began when she was 17.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really count, I guess.
62 years.
Yep. I bet her memoir volumes are really interesting. She's done a whole lot in her life.
She's written multiple memoirs.
Cosmic Urgency said, I have a crush on Artie Robb in the Brady Bunch movie.
Dude, we were hanging out with obviously this is after Brady Bunch or whatever, and we were hanging out at the office, and Leo comes over and he's like, yo, bro, hook me up with Christine Taylor.
He's such a fucking horn dog.
Who played Marsha. And so RD's like, yeah, bro, I can do that. I can hook you up with Marsha, Because RD,
was working with her. Yeah.
He was penetrated by her.
Excuse me?
You don't know the scene?
No.
Cosmic, tell her how Artie Robb was penetrated by Marsha. So
that's a choice of words.
It's a fun one. I'm going to leave you hanging. Anyway, so we're sitting around. RD's like, yeah, fucking I'll hook it up, right? So we're sitting there and RD picks up the phone. He's like, calls her and she answers, right? She's home. He's like, yo, what's up? And she's like, yeah, what's going on? He puts her on speakerphone. We're all sitting there. And RD's like, yo, man, by the way, I'm buddies with Leonardo DiCaprio. And who that is? She's like, yeah, because it was pre-Titanic, right? So, of course, everyone still knew who he was, but, humility and all that. And she's like, yeah, I remember him. Of course. I mean, I know of him, of course. And he's like, yeah, anyway, I'm friends with him or whatever. And he was like, yo, maybe you could introduce us. I was like, so I don't know if you'd be down, but, Leah would like to meet you. Maybe you'd like to meet him. She's like, no, I'm not really that interested.
I'm good, thanks.
She passed on that
I'm
shit.
gonna pass.
It wasn't, she didn't even think about it.
It was like, not even a breath.
No, it was like, she was
I love that.
She was probably dusting or something. It was like, oh no, absolutely not. It was not even
That's so great.
a remote consideration.
Was Leo there? Did he hear it?
Yes, Leo was there.
Did he react?
Yeah, he laughed. I mean, he was on speakerphone, so he didn't reveal it.
I'm glad he laughed instead of being.
Yeah, he laughed. I mean, he took it on the chin. Listen, before Leonardo DiCaprio broke out, he couldn't get any, there was no action in that guy's life. None.
Because
absolutely nobody was interested in Leonardo DiCaprio until he started getting famous.
I know. I can imagine. I never understood why he was a sex symbol. He just looked prepubescent for half of his career.
He did. I mean, looking at those pictures of him in '94, it's like, man, you were just a child.
That is a small boy.
Just a boy.
Yeah. Shanna Knows is with us. Said Christine Taylor was so perfectly cast as Marsha.
Did you read Cosmic Urgencies?
Yes. Yeah. Cosmic Urgency is informing me that she French kissed Artie Robb. He was scandalized.
He was scandalized. Well, he kisses her. It's a really cute scene because he's kissing her. They have a kiss. And he's like, oh, Marsha, I think you just put your tongue in my mouth or something like this.
With the cracking
his
voice
is all cracking. And
Mr. Hands 57 wants to
adorable.
know if you ever saw A Christmas Story 2.
I didn't see it. No, I'm not gonna. Listen to me, man. That's a sequel that shouldn't have happened, bro. It's just a bunch of money grabbing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fucking Christmas Story 2. Everybody's dead. The father
Spoiler.
is dead. No,
Spoiler.
He's dead. He's gone. He's fucking gone. Everybody knows that's not a spoiler. He's actually dead in life. It's just,
Yeah.
But I haven't. I'm not going to. It was my favorite holiday. Look, man. I'm an injured fool, bro.
I know. I don't know. I don't know why they keep making remakes and sequels and all of this other shit.
Because
There's
they
like,
got nothing, bro.
I know, because they got nothing. But there's so many original stories that are trying to get made,
But
and they
but
will
that's not
not
good enough for
greenlight
them
those.
because that's not how Hollywood works. The way
It's so
Hollywood works
fucked.
is they say, I need to be able to, on paper, project how this thing's going to go. And with original work, they can't.
It just fucking
For
ruins
example,
it, bro.
One Battle After Another was supposed to sweep everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went and fucking saw it in the pre-screenings, they were like, this is going to kick ass. It got standing ovations at Cannes. It was going to be a sensation. And one of the reasons why people don't is because it's original material. I know it's loosely based on the Pinchot. Is that his name, Pinchot? I never read him. You know, the book writer?
Oh,
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson keeps making. I don't know why I want to say Bronson Pinchot because you said Pinchot and I was like, oh, Bronson Pinchot, but that's the guy that played Balky Bartokomous.
Yeah, well, I know him. Yeah, I mean,
in True Romance and
True
everything.
Romance
yeah,
is probably
he's really great. Such a great career.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I can't remember.
We almost auditioned him for fucking. Not auditioned. We almost made an offer for a small group. Remember?
Yes.
Nah, I had to talk everybody out of it.
It wasn't going to work out.
I had to talk everybody out of that shit.
That's really funny.
When I made that Christian movie, bro, all they wanted to do, those fuckers, it was like, oh, let's get stars. And we got submitted. Like, we got like, whatever we got. We got like a bunch of fucking, like, sort of guys who were just looking for work, but they were once very famous.
Yeah. I know it was kind of sad.
Even like, and Pinchot was like the saddest one for me because that guy was,
well,
you know, like, you can't be serious. This movie I'm making has $1 million budget.
Well,
and
I know, but
it
wasn't him submit. It was his agents are just submitting.
I don't
like
care.
It's not like he decided like, ooh, this sounds like a good fit for me.
Yeah.
You know?
So anyway, with that, I was like, I was just kind of bummed that dude was being submitted to us because he's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I had to do was I had to convince these guys not to hire a movie star. Here's the funny thing, because this relates to Blake Lively in a weird way, not in the same way, but you scale it up. You know, I'm working with this first time director, which is why I didn't want him to have a fucking anything close to a movie star. No Eric Roberts, no Bronson Pinchot, none of these guys, because this guy's a first time director and they will walk the fuck over him in a minute. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit there and be his shield between these people. And it's just a pain in the ass. They're also extremely hard to work with. Like, they have so many more demands than any other talent, particular to the way they're handled with regards their accommodations, not just their pay, but they need like this first class shit, and they need like somebody rubbing their feet in between takes, and they need green M&Ms and all these fucking things. And their demands can become very burdensome to a small production. And so, and then on top of that, they can get extremely nosy in the content itself because they take a certain amount of, I guess, authorship because of their likeness being such a draw potentially, and that draw being either a box office draw or just a sale draw, right? Like when you get a guy like Eric Roberts. One of the reasons why Eric Roberts is one of the most worked actors in all of history is because he's worth a certain amount of money everywhere. And everybody recognizes who he is everywhere. There's no country in the world that watches movies that doesn't know who Eric Roberts is. He's that guy for most people. He also, like, who's that guy from Heroes? There's a guy from,
surprisingly, he does an excellent job in everything that he's in. Like, he's a really good actor and he's really casual. Like, he plays characters really well. It's really amazing because I have seen him utter absolute horseshit fucking dialogue and he nails it. I'm like, wow, this is why your work so much.
Anyway,
Shannon.
So where I was going with that was the last bit was on this is that when you scale that up, that's what I was talking about with Justin Baldoni. He just didn't fucking know how to handle
a star.
The level of talent that he had in front of him. He just didn't understand the care. He didn't understand the influence that person's going to have on the production. It is part and parcel.
But he should have, because in her very first meeting, she said that she wanted to be a producer.
Well, and then so he was like, okay, I got to keep this under wraps, or he should have known that he had to keep it under wraps or whatever. Or he need to embrace, embrace that process. Like with Leo, we didn't Leo's like fire Amber Benson. We wrote her back in and then we got him to participate in that, right? We didn't just spring it on him and we were like, Leo, what about this? And when we got him to say, yeah, I'll fucking do that, right? That's how you work with a movie star. as opposed to Justin Baldoni, who seemed to really just want to impose his will, who just wanted to run the set like a Baha'i set. Literally Steve Sarowitz said in that recording that it was a Baha'i set.
Yeah.
And I think that when you there is no such thing as a Baha'i set. That doesn't exist, right? Baha'i is a religion and a set is a production.
A workplace.
It's a workplace. They don't coincide in that way ever. Even on my own Christian movie, I didn't allow that. And I'm not a Christian, and I didn't allow it to be a Christian set. No responsible producer would. So I just don't think that they understood that capacity. And there wasn't unlike, the director of Small Group, there was nobody there like me to protect Justin Baldoni because Jamie Heath let that woman in that editing bay. I would not have let that happen. Justin Baldoni would have never had that problem if I produced him. He would have never had that problem. I would have screamed, veins out to here, you're not fucking letting her in. It's not happening. This is my production.
Because you believe that a director deserves to have time to complete an edit before anybody else gives their input.
Because I will always give the director as noise-free an experience as possible through the first cut. It's critical to me. It's critical to if I'm going to produce a movie, the director, the editor, and the creative producer, that would be me. Could be somebody else, but if I'm on board, it's me.
I'm curious about this.
The only people allowed in the editing bay.
I'm curious about this hypothetical, though. Say that you are a creative producer, or you're working with a director, and you recognize that all of his decisions are garbage.
Whose decisions?
Just a hypothetical that the director who's directing the edit is making bad decisions.
That's why I'm there.
Right, but you guys aren't agreeing, right?
I win.
You win?
Yes.
So what happens when the director doesn't want to work with you anymore? Would you?
You just fire me. I'm the producer.
Just in no, I understand, but in a hypothetical, right? Because I'm wondering, because Sony told Wayfair several times, you guys have final edit. Something changed. Once they started editing, something changed where Sony was like, you guys don't get final edit anymore. We're actually going to use Blake Lively to help us achieve a final edit so we can make a theatrical release.
I think there was two things that changed, and this is look, I mean we're conflating things because whatever is contractual is sort of a different ball game in terms of anyway, it's interesting because it was contractual. He did have a final cut.
Well, we haven't seen any contracts, but they're exchanging text messages where they're stating this to each other.
I mean, we can just say that we can believe Sony.
Yeah.
When Sony says that they had a final cut.
Yeah.
Let's just believe them.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen a contract, but let's just believe them. It's just an interesting example because it just shows you the real power of the studio. Because we also know that there was a text where Justin Baldoni makes that snide comment about how the actress, he refers to her as an actress, which is low key, passive aggressively, a fucking complete insult to her.
I know it.
Let some actress in the editing bay when the director can't go into the editing bay. So there was a shift there.
Yeah, the editor said it was per Sony that he was not permitted in the edit. So the Sony had decided that Justin Baldoni's not allowed in this edit anymore. And we're continuing with Blake Lively.
Right. So that just shows you the power of Sony in this game. Because if there was a contractual obligation from Wayfair to Sony, or from Sony to Wayfair, giving them cut rights, and then Sony manages to wrestle that away, it shows you the power there. It has nothing to do with Blake Lively. Blake Lively had no contractual power here at all in this situation. The only play there could have been made by Sony to keep Justin Baldoni out of the editing bay. We don't know exactly why, but I have two reasonably reliable theories. The first one is that he changed the script up and he wanted to shoot a teenager having her virginity taken that included what he called a gasp. And this movie is not about that. And this movie and that act had no relevance to the themes of this movie. This movie is about domestic violence. This movie is about women overcoming their perpetrators. This isn't a movie about loss. This isn't Blue Lagoon, as egregious as that was.
Right.
So this isn't a discovery of a woman's, sexuality. And that's what he tried to turn it into. So that's point number one. I think Sony was like, ooh, that's not in touch. That's a problem. Because if the cut is going to have any of these slants toward that, that might, for them, Sony, jeopardize a lot of their marketing ideas right away. And also it might limit their market in general. They might worry about how that might limit their market and their marketing. So that's the first one. And then the second is that they might have just seen the cut and went, this needs to be better. This needs to be a certain way. And they might have communicated that to Justin Baldoni on multiple occasions and not gotten it back. And we do have plenty of evidence that shows that Justin Baldoni was 100% in their face about sticking to his guns. It's an interesting thing because if you actually compile all the little bits, you're going to see an anti-Hollywood, anti-studio sentiment coming from people who are accepting Hollywood money, Hollywood studio money, so they're taking the money and giving them the finger.
This is really common though, right? Like, doesn't every filmmaker who ever works with the studio hate it the whole time?
But they know what they're getting.
I know. And they complain about it the whole time.
It's one thing to hate it, and it's another thing. Like, you know what you're getting. You're getting, especially if you're not Martin Scorsese or you're not, James Cameron or you're not fucking.
Yeah, you're going to lose creative disputes all the time. You're going to have to compromise all kinds of shit.
You have to be Paul Thomas Anderson to be able to, have any leverage over a studio, especially as it relates to the cut being released. So anyway, I feel like I didn't adequately answer that question. So I'm going to go back, switch topics, just quick moment. Oh no, I just want to say that I just want to emphasize about that question about whether or not I would go back in time and not make Don's Plum. And the answer is unequivocally no.
You would not go back in time, or you would not make Don's Plum?
I would never change anything. I wouldn't change anything. I'm happy to. I'm not happy to die. I'm content with dying with this suffering, having that experience in my life where I discovered something so deep and personal and special about me as an artist, about who I wanted to be, about everything that I thought, everything that there are moments in our lives. I believe there are moments in our lives when we get confronted with who we truly are, who we truly wanted to be, and it often, I think, shows up as a crossroads or a fork in the road. And you got to make a choice. Probably more like a crossroads. You can stay on that same path. You can reject all these things. We hear about this in tale after tale. The elder person who sits back and says to the young person, "I wish I would have. I wish I would have pursued my dreams. I wish I would have, followed, the advice of somebody who told me that I was good enough or whatever it might be." Yeah. But instead, I had you, my child. I have had a very difficult life. I've had a life that I on occasion wake up and wish didn't happen. There are times when I've woken up and been like, I fucking hate this life, and that feels tragic. But I've also had a very blessed life, like a really blessed life, that I was able to at 25 years old discover everything that I am in one moment.
Yeah, you got to do so much cool shit.
And that's what happened with Don's Plum. With Don's Plum, I discovered everything that I was. With Don's Plum, I knew what my future held. And I would never change that for anything because, if Don's Plum didn't happen, well, I guess it's better phrased like this. I took a production course, where I teach you how to operate cameras and kind of be a producer, right? So they teach you like the very basics of camera operation so you can communicate with people.
Hey,
hold on.
Mateo says that your mic is too far.
Oh, is it? Really?
It is kind of like sitting on your desk and you're not really talking into it.
Well, yeah, but there was a reason for that because I was... Sorry about that.
I just wanted to get that fixed before your story. Dinosaur said, never unmake Don's Plum. It's very important to me.
Yeah, I would never do it. It's really incredibly pleasing to hear from you. It was a part of my DNA, that movie. And my DNA is in that movie. It's not just my DNA. It's that movie has my DNA in it. It's obviously metaphoric, but yeah, that movie is a part of my identity, my creative identity. It's part of my integrity as an artist. It's part of everything. It was a discovery that I would never want to lose.
And I think that
if I ended up on a TV show, do you know how many fucking people I met on TV shows? Miserable.
On TV shows? What do you mean?
Acting, directing, writing.
That they
people
worked
in writing rooms. I met people in writing rooms that fucking pull their hair out half the time.
Really?
Yeah. They work fucking ungodly hours. They're not even getting credit for the episodes they're working on. The pay is great, but the money runs out. We talked about this earlier in this live alone.
But the pay is great. That's like
it's fucking ridiculous.
This is where you want to be.
$30,000, $15,000, $10,000 a week. right?
That's
Fucking
crazy.
crazy amount of money. You're
That
like,
sounds
oh,
awesome.
fuck, watch what I eat. You know, I'll take 2, 3. You know, I'm gonna take a taxi to fucking Paris. But the money, the value of the money diminishes very quickly, and then suddenly you find yourself. I'll tell you, so many people in whether it's television or I talked a long time ago. I met the director of Crow 2 at our agent's house in the Hamptons. We went to the Hamptons, and he was there. They were fucking coked.
You were invited to the Hamptons for 4th of July, and you were like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
we made it big time."
Yeah, we did. It was weird. I was like, holy fuck. Well, first of all, I didn't even know what the Hamptons were. I was like, what's the fucking Hamptons? He's like, dude, the Hamptons is the Hamptons.
I know. Anytime that there's a neighborhood with a "the" in front of it, it's going to be some posh shit.
The Beverly Hills. So, but when we were there and we were hanging out with that director, he was so fucking miserable. My God, he was miserable.
Really?
Yeah. And I kind of pressed him a little bit, not on his misery so much as I was like, are you all right? Like, you kind of don't seem happy. I didn't say it like that because I only just met him, but I alluded to what appeared to be a really, I don't know, like a really dismal attitude about his career. And he looked at me and he was like, I'm making fucking studio shit. That's what I'm doing. And his agent's sitting there, who put him in that fucking job, by the way. So he's sitting there and he looks at me. He's like, I'm making fucking Hollywood garbage. You get to make art. You're an artist. I'm just a worker bee, bro. He was like, I was happier making, he was a music video guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I was happier making music videos. He's like, this is miserable. And of course that movie bombed, if you recall. It was like a fucking huge disappointment to Crow fans, the Crow fans, I guess. So it's just like, to the point of that question is like, it's very interesting because like it's really easy to be like, and I find myself in this situation too, to compare yourself to somebody in a situation where you'd be like, I would do that. You know what I mean? Have you ever done that? Have you ever sat around and been like, fuck, I would do that shit. It's not quite my dreams, but it's halfway up the ladder. So fuck it. Yes. Problem is that when you get halfway up the ladder, you realize there's nowhere to step off. You realize you're just stuck in that one spot and you're looking up and it's where you want to go. But everyone's like, no, you got to stay right there. We're going to pass you a bucket. And that bucket is the job they want you to complete. Not the job that is in your heart, not the job that is your love.
So
that's why in the book I end up in that situation with RD and I'm like, you can't do Dennis the Menace. This is our opportunity to be individuals, to be autonomous in our art. This is not fucking easy to find. This is hard to find. It's ours. It's a bag. We can grab it. It's in our hands. And it's such a precious opportunity.
Does anybody get to do that? Like they have an agent that gets them booked, but they actually get to book stuff that they want? Or do they deny what the agent is bringing them, like Dennis the fucking Menace or whatever? And then the agent drops them because they're hard to work with.
Everybody's different. Everybody's an individual, but John Cassavetes is a great example of this. Right? John Cassavetes is the great indie film icon, American indie film icon.
Does anybody get to have that kind of career anymore?
Let me finish what I was saying. So he would work on things like Rosemary's Baby, big giant movies.
Yeah.
These are not movies he wanted to do or be. He was not pleased with his life as a studio actor. He acted as a means to be able to make movies like Faces and Women Under the Influence. So it just varies in terms of like people's approach, right? Like others are, for example, so a lot of, the Cassavetes approach, right, is I'll make a bunch of money as an actor and then I'll take that money and I'll be the director and writer that I want to be. So that's one way to do it. And people can do that today. Does that?
Yeah, like I've heard people say like that they'll make one for them, one for me. I've heard that successful filmmakers will do that where they're like, okay, I'll make a studio thing that's like, soulless and doesn't feed me and give me inspiration.
That's right.
But then they'll try and make something that does inspire them.
Yeah, sometimes they'll even make the deal like that. Like the deal is, how about this? I'll make your movie and then you finance this little thing on the side.
Right. My question is, does anybody get to have Cassavetes' career anymore?
I mean, yes, of course. Absolutely. Who are they? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is there nobody who is like Cassavetes now because the agency system, the studio system doesn't really accommodate it?
It's a difficult thing to say. Is there a Cassavetes because he was such a a divinely inspired talent. And he just understood his role. So I would say the capacity is there for it. You know, if Timothée Chalamet decided, hey, I'm going to make this movie so I can make that movie, it would happen. If Leonardo DiCaprio decided he was going to make this movie so he could make that movie, it would fucking happen. I think a part of what you might be recognizing as potentially a limited field in that area is due to the fact that the money is so good that they just keep pursuing it. And the accolade and, you know, the ass and the whatever else that they're in pursuit of is so abundant that they're, you know, unless you're an artist of high integrity where none of that matters to you and your focus is on this dream that's in your heart, it's very easy to get swept up into the machine because the machine will treat you right if you give them what they want. And they don't want you to go make Women Under the Influence. They don't want you to go make, you know, Faces. They want you to go make Rosemary's Baby and shut the fuck up. And so they do everything they can.
I wish they still made Rosemary's Babies. They don't make those movies anymore either.
Do you love that movie? Did you love that movie?
I loved that movie.
Did you?
Yeah, well, that's Roman Polanski, right?
It is.
I love Roman Polanski's directing. I really do. There's just like he makes certain choices.
Probably my favorite part of the movie was his directing.
Yeah, like there's that scene. Anytime anybody ever talks about Rosemary's Baby, they talk about this one scene where what's that actress that played Maude and Harold and Maude? She's wonderful.
Oh, I can't.
But anyway,
remember
she's Rosemary's neighbor.
Yes.
Which is like, you know, the conspiracy that she's uncovering is that the neighbors are actually like demon worshippers or whatever. And so she's
so creepy in the movie.
They're always talking about this one directing choice where she answers the phone into another room, and Rosemary's already starting to get suspicious that these guys are kind of weird. And so what he does as a director is he's filming her from the hallway. So you've got the camera frame, and then there's the frame of the door. And so you're seeing her through this like little frame, which I love it when directors do that, when they put a frame in a frame. Ruth Gordon, yeah, she's wonderful, and no matter what she's in. He's filming her through a little frame in the door, and then she's seated on the bed and she's talking on the phone, but all you can see is her back, and so her acting on the phone is totally obscured by the door. And in interviews about this movie, they're always talking about that decision to film it that way, and it conveys so much to the audience about how she's keeping secrets, you know. Yeah. Apparently the producer was like, you can't film somebody like this. You can't film them have a whole conversation on the telephone and not even see their face. Like, what are you doing, Polanski? And apparently he was like, no, you got to trust me on this. And then when they did a test screening, all of the audience sort of like craned their neck to try and see her and see what she was doing. Like it made it so much more intriguing. Yeah. Everybody was like really invested because she was obscured. And I just love choices like that. They're so counterintuitive, you know, when the director is making this choice, everybody around them's like, you're crazy, you can't do that, but they actually can. They just fucking made it better and conveyed something they couldn't have done with images or words.
Do you can you guess what year perhaps Ruth Gordon was born in? Just guess. Oh, to help you, I'll say she died in 1985.
I don't know anything about her. No.
She was born in 1896.
1896?
Doesn't that just sound like a ridiculous long time ago? Like, dude, like her parents voted for Lincoln.
She's born in the 19th century. That's crazy. She's delightful.
Maybe they didn't vote for
I should
Lincoln.
watch everything she's done.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
1896. Cosmic Urgency said that Jennifer Lawrence, and this is true, this is in my saved for the day, but Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone are producing a Miss Piggy movie, and he's very excited about it. I think I have the best Muppets movie ever. I really do. I think I would have revived the franchise.
Maybe there's a place for it. Maybe they're going to have a big revival.
So when I saw it, I got immediately jealous. There's no way I can't be jealous in that situation because my Muppets movie was like, it was like my pet project. And Jim Henson was alive when I came up with the idea, and I pitched it to an executive, and he was like, he won't even fucking talk to you about it. That is not open for a conversation. Because I wanted to turn the Muppets into humans, and then turn the rest of the world into Muppets. Mm-hmm. And then through Resolve, it's all through a genie. Miss Piggy gets upset because she fell in love with a soap star, but she gets rejected because she's a Muppet. And she's pissed off and roaming, along a beach. And She sees a bottle, she rubs it, out comes a genie, 3 wishes. She's all fucking perturbed about this being rejected by this guy. So she turns him and all their humans into a Muppet and turns all the Muppets into humans. And she, of course, blows her 3rd and final wish before that gets rejected or gets corrected and the world gets returned back to normal. And so now they have to go on a quest to go find the genie's lover, who was last known location was in Monaco or wherever the fuck it would be. Wherever. Morocco, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they're going on a trip to Morocco, or they go on it becomes a road movie where the human Muppets are going to.
They have to undo the curse.
Yeah, and all the other Muppets are like, so it becomes like they're cursed. No, they're not cursed. Like they're like the Muppets want, all the Muppet people want to kill them because they look what they've done. All production's fucked up. Nobody can build anything anymore. Like everything's a mess. It's a hilarious take on the Muppets.
I have 2 questions.
And they all get restored back to regular Muppetdom.
Oh, no, don't spoil the ending.
It's never going to get goddamn made, man.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Who would you cast as Gonzo?
Well, this was the fun we had, bro.
Who would play Gonzo?
Well, Adrian Brody. I mean, it would have been the first choice back then, especially.
Yeah, I know. He's so serious, too. It'd be perfect because Gonzo's very serious.
Very serious. It would have been Adrian Brody, first and foremost, 100%. I had Alicia Silverstone as Miss Piggy. Which is, but not bad. Not bad.
And then my second question is the genie a Muppet or is the genie...
Genie's a Muppet.
The genie starts out as a Muppet?
Is a Muppet.
He's a Muppet the whole time.
Yeah, the genie's not included in the transformation. The genie's a genie.
Okay.
But it's Muppet Genie.
Of course.
But
Dale's got it all figured out.
And also, I was like, why wouldn't they want to do this? Like, what merchandise, what fucking merchandise opportunity was that? Like back in when I came up with this idea, and I came up with the idea because I was in Winnipeg when I came up with the idea. I was a stand-up comedian. I was like 18 or 19 years old when I came up with the idea. And you brought up Gonzo. And the funny thing is that I came up with the idea because I was on a bus going to a comedy show. I was on a transit bus going to fucking do a comedy show in downtown Winnipeg, and Gonzo got the fuck on my bus.
Oh.
I literally changed seats so I could stare at him because it looked like he had a little fucking mole. He had the whole Gonzo hook. It was Gonzo in a human suit.
That's how it goes, man.
And I went home and I fucking wrote the whole thing.
That's how inspiration strikes. Dinosaur has offered this information for you about the Abu Dhabi Film Festival.
Yeah.
Apparently has a film fund, and they are offering filmmakers $60,000 US.
What am I supposed to make with that? I'm not.
Sanad Fund. I guess this is an acronym. SANAD Fund. $60,000. That'll probably help somebody do post, right? Like so. You might have to show people that you've made a film, and then they'll help.
I
you
don't
post
know
it.
what to do with $60,000 in terms of making a movie. I really don't know what to do with that. I mean, listen, I would need $500,000 in favors.
Yeah. You were talking about emotional sunburns.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm gonna sneeze.
Please don't. Please don't. Don't do it. God, don't.
Like,
just don't. It's so horrible.
How your brain is like, are we sneezing? We're not sneezing.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Hands 57 said Tobey Maguire does indeed have the emotional range of a sunburn.
It's true, man.
That's perfect.
It's true. I hate being damaged, Some days it really fucking bothers me. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading this book and I knew this book was going to be hard on me, man. And it is getting so much more difficult on me because when you survive so much goddamn abuse in your life and it lasts for so long.
I'm trying. There's so many fun jokes in the chat.
Let's go. Yeah, let's have fun.
I'm like, how am I supposed to get back to the...
Okay, let's have fun.
Erica is telling you, don't tell me what's in chorizo. Just let me love it.
Cow lips and pork
cow
butts.
Lips. Oh, man. I can't believe that he actually had an itemized receipt about what kind of meat was in his
When I saw that, my fucking eyes popped out of my head because I've had pounds of it.
Yes.
That means I've been eating.
We love chorizo.
We knew this. When I was a kid, my mainstay diet is actually now considered one of the worst foods. You know how they said bagels are like the absolute worst food you can eat. Or
Oh,
whatever,
I know. I was
most
devastated when I heard that news.
It's fucking it's
I
hot
fucking love
dogs.
bagels.
The truth is hot dogs.
Hot dogs,
And
yeah. Apparently.
we grew up relatively poor, and so hot dogs, 99-cent pack of hot dogs.
Dude, even rich kids eat hot dogs, bro.
Well, no, but we got the 99-cent ones that when you eat them, if you eat the raw ones, like because they're not raw, they're all cooked or whatever, processed meat. But we just like grab a wiener. Such a weird thing to do. Just fucking gobble it down. And it used to kind of gag me in the end because you get that whole like
Is it
mouth
greasy?
of fucking like lard almost.
Ugh, God, stop it.
You just know it's not good, bro.
I made a soy riso today from
I
scratch.
loved it.
Well, not from scratch. I bought tofu. I made,
Well, that's from scratch. What are you gonna you make the tofu too?
well, you can buy soybeans and you can
also
make,
do it with
you can
tempeh.
make tofu yourself. It's not that hard to make, but I didn't. So that would be like from scratch. But
It's fucking delicious.
and it is not as good as pork chorizo.
No, I mean, there's no meat replacement. When I was a vegetarian for 14 years before I went back. I ate meat again after that. It was like for almost 20 years. I went back to meat and ate meat. Now I'm back off of meat now for the last whatever it's been, couple years. And my first bout of vegetarianism, I spent far too much time trying to replace meat.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was veggie bacon and veggie burgers and veggie cold cuts and veggie wieners and some of it worked enough to satisfy me, but what I learned when I went back to meat, I was like, wow, what a futile and delusional attempt at meat. Because I'd forgotten all about meat.
You
but then
have
when you
though.
fucking eat ribs
I know.
and that shit falls off the bone, you
I
see that
know,
that
my
gif
God.
that's going on, the guy
Yes.
dropping his
Dude,
tenderness.
we made ribs here. A few.
They just fall off like the tenderness.
I think it was like for 4th of July, we wanted to go all out and like do a big cook and make everything for ourselves. And then, and I have this incredible recipe. I had a friend in LA who was a celebrity chef and he put out a cookbook. And it's just the best.
It's a wonderful book.
Yeah. It's, I can't remember what it's called right now, but I reference it constantly. Anyway, I'll mention it again if it comes up, but we made ribs that fell off the bone. And I was like, oh, I get why people devote their entire lives to this. Like, and
once you start, you're just
become like barbecue masters,
brisket.
like grill masters.
There's the gift that's that guy, the tenderness guy.
Yeah, he
that's
keeps
going around.
pulling the meat. Like he just
It was
like
so great 'cause
lifts it a little and it just slides right out.
Another one crossed my feed where it was like brisket. It wasn't even on a bone. And he says, pick it up. And this guy picks up a slice of brisket and he goes, just shake it a little bit. And he shakes it and it just falls apart. And he just stands up and walks away like his signature. He's like, I gotta go.
I know, it's so
too bad.
satisfying. So like I get why vegetarians want to replicate meat because, oh my God, it's so fucking delicious.
But you can't. You must stop. I mean, there's some of it. There was this place.
Listen,
There's
you
this
can
place
have
in LA.
sandwiches with like sliced tempeh or fucking seitan or fucking whatever, and it satisfies you. You're like, okay, that's a sandwich with various flavors in it. Like I get it. Like it.
If you're not doing it for health and you're doing it for activism, then go into it because you don't care about your health anyway. But if you're doing it for health, highly processed foods are probably the worst thing you can do for your body. And so the one thing that vegetarians have far too much of, if they're not like pursuing things like whole foods, if they're not eating whole foods, if they're like all wrapped up in frozen burgers and veggie burgers and whatever,
Pizza.
and soy cheese.
Yeah.
That they're consuming egregious amounts of processed foods and really fucking up their microbiome.
I want to learn how to make all that stuff from scratch.
It's pretty cool.
Like I'm gonna make my own tofu. You can make tofu out of different kinds of beans too.
Sure
It doesn't
can.
have to be soybeans.
No, it's like hummus too. Like people.
So you can make like tofu out of black beans or
you can
something.
make black bean hummus.
Yeah.
Sure can. Kristen Stewart slams Hollywood's treatment of women filmmakers after brief moment of progress post Me Too. It is devastating, she says. I just really think this is really important because...
What is she talking about?
She's talking about the Hollywood's treatment of women filmmakers.
Oh, I know, but is she specific?
Well, let me just go where I'm going because I'm not talking specifically about her article as much as the sentiment of it because I haven't read the whole article. It caught my eye because, a lot of people I don't think a lot of people appreciate what Blake Lively had to go through to try and just get to that point. Think about it. And I've always maintained that I believe that one of the biggest attractions to this project for Blake Lively was Justin Bell W. She hasn't said that, and I don't think she'll ever will because I don't think it'll help her. Maybe it will in her trial, maybe in her own testimony, maybe she said it in her deposition. I don't know, but I believe that it's highly likely that she wanted to be that one of the big attractions was Justin Baldoni because he was man enough. Because it is so difficult for women to make it as a filmmaker in Hollywood. It is like atrociously difficult. And it's so interesting because like when we think about like other forms of suppression and the ways in which people get out of them, right? Like violence is always, the first thing that comes to mind from a lot of people who think that, that's the only way to really deal with oppressive forces. And I use that word very loosely because, and it can certainly be replaced with aggression or an aggressive pursuit of your dreams. It's as the Canadians put it through all these tariffs, it's an elbows up situation for women in Hollywood. If they're going to get anywhere, they got to get their fucking elbows out, and they got to KO a bunch of guys who are trying to stay in front of them. And the one thing that's really very interesting about Hollywood is Hollywood has to move with the way, generally speaking, with the way the sort of society, the sort of culture trends are moving, right? So if all of a sudden the world is, appalled that there aren't enough Hispanic filmmakers, well, if you're in Hollywood and you're a white dude, good luck getting a job. And this isn't a complaint by any means. I want the Hispanic filmmakers to have their opportunities. The point is that there's always somebody trying to get in front of you at the same time as Hollywood always trying to appease the masses. And appease is the right word here because they'll never shift. It's a very white dominant industry, very white dominant industry. So there's all this like, sort of vitriol and hatred toward Blake Lively. And it comes in, in a like a basket of ignorance, in a world of ignorance, because just people don't understand the difficulty that female filmmakers are actually faced with. And some think, oh, well, you're Blake Lively, you should get easier. Should get easier, right? Because you're a name, you're recognized, you have Hollywood power. It's even more difficult for people like her. And the reason it's more difficult for people like her is for the very same reasons she talked about in that Forbes interview. Because in Hollywood, when Blake Lively's name comes up, what do they think about? Directing? No. Producing? Fuck no. Mm-hmm. Writing? Never, ever. Acting. That's what they think about. And it's the only fucking thing they think about. So if Blake Lively knocks on your door and says, hi, I don't want to act, door closes. Fast. They don't have time for it. They already got directors. So the reason why it's even more of a disadvantage for people like Blake Lively is because they have to try to redefine themselves as opposed to somebody like Sofia Coppola. Nepotism aside. Right? Or any other female director.
Maybe not nepotism aside. I wonder how much she leaned on that nepotism in order to get the
career
aside, that she got. I'm
putting it aside, saying that generally speaking, she came up. I mean, I know she acted very briefly in her father's movies, but that she came up as a filmmaker is the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Obviously, her nepotism helped her above and beyond, say somebody who's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, right? But a Kathleen Kennedy or like very few, like a Penny Marshall, very few are able to redefine themselves into these new roles. It's a very fucking difficult thing to do. It's immensely difficult for somebody like even like a Ron Howard.
What's really great is that there's been a big change recently where there's like a lot of new, probably just in the last 10 years, there's been a lot of high achieving cinematographers that are women more often than ever before. It's really great. They're evening the playing field in cinematography.
Oh my God.
What?
I'll tell you in a second. Yeah. Well, I love that. Look, but it's incremental, right? It's just slow progress, Mm-hmm. It's like fucking.
Yeah, well, you got to get a big
pouring
resume.
Cold maple syrup. Like it can take a while, or oyster sauce to get culinary about it all. Like, it's just molasses slow. And so it doesn't, so progress is slow. Life is short. And so if you're somebody, it's so weird because you pioneers are often people who pursue something even when it's not good for them in the end, even when the gain really isn't there for them, what makes them pioneers is that they're breaking through in areas that, were otherwise impenetrable or seemingly impenetrable.
And who's that in this scenario?
Well, I'm just saying that it doesn't matter who it is, because the point that I'm making isn't about,
But who's the pioneer in
It
this?
doesn't matter. The point that I'm making is that you can call it Penny Marshall, or you can call it fucking Catherine Bigelow, or you can call it Catherine Kennedy, or any of these. But it's not about that. It's about how your ambition is now. Your Hollywood clock is ticking fast, man. Like, Hollywood has no patience for you to mature. If you don't got it, they don't got time for you. So while the world is, slowly moving forward, your heart needs to move now. And that's where the pain, the frustration, I tried to put it a little bit on display in the scenes with Meadow, where she talks about her struggle.
Yeah.
Her heartbreak of like what she wants and what she needs, and how that's not available to her in the same way that it might be available to her brother.
Shannon Knows is in the chat saying Hollywood is waiting for Nosy Jones, kid detective.
I'm thinking about him every day.
Cosmic Urgency said, is that a male Harriet the Spy? And then they continue this further down. It's really great.
I guess I don't think Cosmic was here for the Nosy Jones.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. You got to go watch the video though. It's on the main channel. Like, it's not in the lives channel. Go to the videos tab on the channel.
Shannon Knows answers. Cosmic Urgency said, no, Nosy Jones is going to be so much better than Harriet the Spy.
Yeah.
He solves mysteries and does talk smack about his classmates. Full disclosure, I did love Harriet the Spy. I think it was a little bit too old. I didn't catch Harriet the Spy.
I haven't either, but I would read Harriet the Spy just to. I mean, look, I've already
Harriet
thought
the Spy
about.
was a show, TV show.
I used to be a Hardy's Boy kid. I read I don't even know how many of those I read. Dozens of them.
So were they like a Scooby-Doo, where they would just like solve crimes in their?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's so funny because like after Nosy Jones kind of got born here on this live.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just for Cosmic Urgency or anybody else who doesn't know, Angela played a little game that was born out of this live. We were talking about something, and she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, if we applied the same to you, what would you end up with?" And she asked me a couple questions. One of them was, "Give me a nickname that you were given as a child by one of your family members." And I didn't remember it, and then Angela reminded me that my Auntie Betty called me Nosy because I used to rest my nose on the counter while she made us fresh donuts. So and then I was supposed to then give that name Nosy a last name based on somebody who had a huge influence in my life.
An adult you admired when you were a kid.
I admired, and that was Darcy Jones. So it's the birth of Nosy Jones. And then Shannon said, "You got to write that. That's got it. Nosy Jones is a detective, a little
kid detective.
Nosy Jones, kid detective, and the missing donut is what was Shannon's first suggestion."
So great.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Skeet Ulrich bit about how he got his name. It was a really fun little episode.
Yeah.
So if you go, actually, let me look and see on the channel, Cosmic, because you'll enjoy it. Because you're a friend. Content. Let me go. Let me see what we got. My latest video has 14 views. Yesterday's video has 11 views. So we're killing it, Fucking 14 views, 5 likes. Hell yeah. Thank you guys for watching it. I really appreciate you. Let me see. Justin Baldoni lying. Did Hollywood accuse Blake Lively of extortion? I'll find it for you, Cosmic, and I'll email it to you. That's right, I can't, because you're hiding your identity.
I have a question from the chat.
Fear me.
Amanda Not Jedi is asking.
Hi, Amanda.
What is wage theft, and why was Kevin Connolly accused of it?
I don't know. By the way, first of all, somebody just said that Kevin Connolly is in Kim Kardashian's new series.
The one that's got
That's so fucking great.
Oh my God.
Kevin Connolly's a fucking loser.
Is he cursed, though?
He's a fucking loser.
It got 0%.
I honestly just cannot stand that human being.
Okay, but answer the question.
What?
What is wage theft? Yeah. And why was Kevin Connolly accused of it?
Probably because he stole somebody's wages. I don't know. Let's find out what it is.
Wage theft is usually underpaying your employees.
Let me tell you what it is. Wage theft is the illegal withholding of workers' wages, which can include paying less than minimum wage, which you just suggested, denying overtime pay, failing to compensate for all hours worked, making illegal deductions. I'm sorry, but there's a Kool-Aid tax. Misclassifying employees to avoid paying benefits. You're a part-time employee. I know it's 80 hours a week, but this is part-time work because you're only going to be doing it for about a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Fucking to combat it, employees should keep detailed records of their work hours. So let's see now. Kevin, wage theft. Kevin fucking Connolly, who I cannot stand.
Mr. Hands 57 said, Kevin Connolly making a pilot in which he played Kevin Connolly that nobody wanted will never not be funny to me. Mr. Hands 57.
Oh, that's right. He did. It was like a complete disaster.
Mr. Hands 57 also said, growing a Kevin colony from scratch in a laboratory would be interesting, though.
He's such a fucking piece of shit. He really is. He's a piece of shit.
You're so angry you missed the fucking joke. Okay, it's so great.
Sorry, what is it?
Mr. Hands 57 is going on about a Kevin colony again, a colony of bacteria. Growing a Kevin colony from scratch in a laboratory would be interesting, though.
You are fucking funny, bro.
Cosmic Urgency said, I don't understand why Glenn Close and Naomi Watts are on that show. Well, it's a Ryan Murphy show. That's his name?
Yeah, I'm going to give you... Let me read this for you from
I think
Forbes.
He pays people extraordinarily well. I think that's probably all it is.
Forbes has a great... Forbes... What's that fucking Kim Kardashian...
It's called All's Fair. Is what the title of the show is. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. All's Fair. Listen to this, guys.
Because I guess they're divorce lawyers, so all's
I'll
fair.
I'll tell you all about it if you just take talk. I'll give you the skinny mini.
Ryan Murphy he's hit or miss, man. He can make the best television and also the worst television. I don't know how the same guy can do both.
Oh, this is not the one I wanted. Shit.
We can talk about it tomorrow.
No, I got it right here. Don't you. Kim Kardashian's All Fair.
All's Fair.
All's Fair. Why is that happening all of a sudden? 1 second. I got to read you guys. I wanted to read this to you anyway, so give me a second here. Hang on.
Clackety clack.
It's a clackety clack situation. Okay. Apologies. Okay, Kim Kardashian's All's Fair gets 0% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's so bad.
And this is in Forbes. Today, Kim Kardashian's new legal drama, All's Fair, is getting gutted by Rotten Tomatoes critics. Created by Ryan Murphy, John Robin Bates, and Joe Backen. All's Fair premieres on streaming on Hulu on Tuesday with the series' first 3 episodes. Premieres. The official summary for All's Fair reads, a team of female divorce attorneys leads a male-dominated firm to open their own powerhouse practice. Fierce, brilliant, and emotionally complicated, they navigate high-stakes breakups, scandalous secrets, and shifting allegiances, both in the courtroom and within their own ranks. In a world where money talks and love is the battleground, these women don't just play a game, they change it. Oh, God. Honestly, changers. Bro, I'm literally
that's not so bad. It could be a good show with that description. I don't know why they sucked enough to get 0%. Oh my God.
It's not my favorite. Okay. As a publication of this article, All's Fair has earned a 0% rotten rating on Rotten Tomatoes critics based on 5 reviews. The critics' consensus and audience summary are still pending. So far, the series earned a 48% Rotten Popcorn score from fewer than 50 verified user ratings. Listen to this. What are the critics actually saying? And I'm so excited to read this to you because this is Kevin Connolly's latest. This fucking guy knows how to pick them.
Well, I guess he's in it. I don't think
it's his latest. He's in it. Angie Han of The Hollywood Reporter is among the top critics of top critics on, I don't know what RT is, who gives All's Fair a rotten review, writing that Kim Kardashian's performance, stiff and effectless, without a single authentic note, is exactly what the writing, also stiff and effectless, without a single authentic note, merits. I mean, is that just like...
Shannon O said, I watched the show just because it got 0% rating. There were so many cringe moments in the show, but I still binged it.
I'll probably binge it. In her rotten review summary,
we're not doing that.
Lucy Mangan of The Guardian writes that All's Fair is fascinatingly, incomprehensibly, existentially terrible, It's so awful, it feels almost contemptuous.
I know. I love that. I love that she chose all the words that she just to convey.
Honestly,
like, I was confused watching it. Like, what did
she was
they do?
delighted in writing this. She was so impassioned by her hatred for it that she busted out one of the best sentences I've read in a long time. Ed Power of the UK's Daily Telegraph isn't any kinder in his rotten review summary of All's Fair. He writes, Ryan Murphy is the high priest of tacky, tasteless television, and this year he has outdone himself with a show of mind-bending horror sure to trigger nightmares in the unsuspecting viewer. The Times of UK also isn't a fan, writing in their review, it thinks it's a feminist fable about spirited lawyers getting their own back on cruel rich men, but it is in fact a tacky and revolting monument to the same greed, vanity, and avarice it supposedly targets.
Yikes.
So I'm delighted to hear that Kevin Connolly is in it.
Well,
I don't give a shit about this show one way or another. I don't give a fuck if Kim Kardashian falls on her face at all.
I mean,
Don't care.
I like a lot of those other actors that are in it, so it sucks that they're doing something that fucking bombed. But
you know,
I mean,
it
I guess
happens,
they
whatever.
should have
They don't
known.
give a shit. Obviously, they took the job.
Yeah, I hope they got well paid for it.
Let me look for this wage theft Kevin Connolly.
Do you see anything?
I'm looking now.
Oh, Amanda Not Jedi says it was from his podcasts. Apparently, he didn't pay people.
Yeah, he's a fucking scumbag, bro. Fucking.
I mean,
he's
it might be an
hypocrite.
honest mistake. Like, he runs a company. It might be somebody that works for him that fucked up. But who knows?
I mean, hey, listen, if you want to sit here and defend Kevin Connolly, go right ahead. But my guess is that here's what I feel about it. He's the producer of the show. He's the guy fucking in charge of that shit. So my guess is that if he's fucking, I mean, you're never going to hear me defend Kevin Connolly because I know he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I know he's a two-faced lying fucking piece of shit. So, I've lived it.
Yep.
That guy's a fucking scumbag in my book. He'll never be anything other than a scumbag in my book. He deliberately destroyed his own work so that he could fucking star fuck his best friend, Leonardo DiCaprio. And to that end, I guess he was super successful.
My favorite thing that I learned about Kevin Connolly was reading his depositions where he showed up and he thought that he was going to he told all the lawyers he was going to show up and drop truth bombs. And then the entire deposition, he just does not understand what the fuck he's talking about. The lawyers are trying to nail down his reasoning for his understanding that Don's Plum was a short film. Nobody can articulate how they knew Don's Plum was a short film, but that's the basis of their entire allegation that they were justified in blocking your movie. Okay, so all the lawyers are like, no, we're just trying to understand why you thought it was a short film, because evidently it was not a short film. It was a feature film, but you guys are saying it was a short film. So how did you know that it was a short film? And Kevin Connolly, his answer, because he's such a brilliant genius, he's like, well, like this is a table. And he knocks on the table in front of him. Like, this is a table. Like, Don's Plum was a short film. And the lawyers are like pulling their hair out, being like, that is not the reason. That is not the answer we're seeking. Like,
that's a giant piece of stupidity.
That is not an explanation that's going to satisfy this question in a legal proceeding. Like, you. So that's my favorite thing about him, is that he thinks he's smarter than everybody else. And he is absolutely stupid and doesn't recognize that he's being stupid.
Mr. Hand says, will we hear you defend Unhappily Ever After? They had some good episodes. I thought Unhappily Ever After was pretty good. Yeah. I used to watch it because obviously my buddy was on it.
Yeah.
And I also was a big fan
saw
of
it.
Nikki Cox. I loved her. And so I watched it and I enjoyed quite a bit of it. I mean, I thought it was, conceptually better than Married with Children because it had a fucking talking puppet. Like,
yeah.
That's
Cosmic Urgency says that recently read from his friend Sarah Paulson's that Pedro Pascal loves horror movies and always drags her to them. Did he love horror movies when you knew him? That's the question.
I knew him. What does that mean?
When you knew Pedro Pascal.
Oh, when you knew him, I see.
Did he love horror movies? Like, apparently Sarah Paulson says he does.
I think so. I mean, I actually don't really remember.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure he did, but I can't really say for sure.
The Ratchag says Kevin Connolly is directing a movie called Lice. Seems fitting. He sounds like a parasite.
Yeah.
Oh, burn.
I hope it's.
I'm amazed.
I have no feelings for him, so
that
I do have
people
feelings for
get
him.
greenlit
Strong feelings.
when after they've directed a movie that won more Razzies than any other film. Like, who is paying for this? And why aren't they paying me instead?
I know.
When I have not directed a film that won more Razzies.
He's a garbage piece of talent. Listen, Kevin Connolly is a garbage piece of talent. He is a one note. He's got nothing. He's got nothing.
The guy made a gangster, like a mafia movie where there's never a single scene of them eating together.
Yeah. Italian
mobster movie.
Not
where
eating.
Never
ever.
eating.
In the whole movie, they don't eat, apparently. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but that's somebody's reviews. Like, how do you make this? And they don't fucking eat.
So maybe he just doesn't have much sense.
I just don't think he's all that talented. I think he's kind of fucking half-witted and untalented. And by half-witted, I'm not trying to, I'm not saying that insensitively. I'm saying that this man does not think for himself or at all beyond whatever, pleases him. He's also been accused, Me Too accused.
Yeah.
So he's got a really dubious, he's accused of stealing people's money. He's accused of, assault, like a serious accusation. He participated in the destruction of my work and my career and my reputation. This guy's a fucking stand-up human being, man. Real fucking, mensch, as they say. Let me see if I have anything else before we pack it up. How are the comments? You've been going through them, right?
Yep.
I love that Shannon watched. I just love that that we, as a society, are like, oh, really? It's absolutely horrible. I have to see this.
I know, it's so good.
That happens to me too. Like, I fucking go through that.
Sometimes I wonder whether it's like a tactic, like a marketing tactic. Because
I never saw what's that one with Seth Rogen? That was like the interview.
The interview, yeah. No, but we fell for that with the War of the Worlds movie recently, the Ice Cube War of the Worlds. Everybody said it was the worst movie ever made. I was like, I'm putting it on right now.
Kevin Connolly is a sicko. I lived in LA and know from experience. Wow. Would you? Yeah, that's interesting. We got to talk. Since Danny Masterson got Me Too'd, I thought Kevin would be next. My old roommate. What?
Well, you have to watch out with stories like that because it's not uncommon for people to try and trap people like you into stating something.
Shannon and I have a relationship.
Oh, okay. I didn't see
it,
who that was.
We have a relationship. No, we've talked. We've emailed each other. She's on the cool side of the fence. Well, I would love to actually talk with you on the sly on that one if you ever have a moment. Just privately, you can trust me on that. I actually have many secrets that I keep and hold. Okay, guys, I have had a really good time tonight, even if I got a little bitey at times.
I had a good time too.
Really enjoy my time with you guys. You guys really make the show fun. I think without you, this would just be me and Angela, and we do that we do that well on the sofa. So I love that.
And you're like, boring.
Love you guys. I hope you guys will check out some of the videos on the main channel and give us likes and stuff. We're not getting a lot of love there. I'm not too worried about it because I understand that the algorithm takes time to understand who I am and what we're doing here and all this other stuff. But thank you, Shannon. I would love to hear from you. But if you got some time and you grab the short ones, like 5-6 minutes or whatever, and just give them a watch and give them a like. Here's the thing about that, though. I'm asking you to watch those videos, even though most of you already participated in them. If you don't feel like doing that, but you're like, oh, I'll do that for Dale, and then you click on it, and then you watch it, and you're like, fuck it, and you switch away, you actually do more harm than good. So only watch the videos if you want to actually see them. But we're at that critical stage where we could use a little boost. So if you've got some time and you can give us a boost, I will gladly accept your kindness. However, please don't at all feel remotely obligated in any way. Spending time with us every night the way you do is not only, my joy, I consider it a great gift from you. So thank you so much for all of that. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Go Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, are they playing tonight?
Yeah, they're on, well, I don't know if they play tonight, but they're on the West Coast. They're on a West Coast run, and they suck on the West Coast. Anyway, I love you guys. I really do. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. I'm sorry Guilty Angel isn't with us. One day she will be. at least she's with us in spirit. Right?
Yep.
Good night, Angela.
Good night.
Good night, guys.